Hey mates, just Matt checking in before the start of the show to let you know that my solo stand-up shows are on sale. Brisbane is now sold out. It sold out pretty quick, but there's still tickets available for Sydney on the 8th of June at the Chippo Hotel and the live taping at the Stupid Old Studios in Melbourne on the 17th of June. And you can get tickets for those shows via mattstewartcomedy.com. mattstewartcomedy.com. Please use the discount code Do Go On for a discount for you, Do Go On listeners. All right, now on with the show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky, and as always, I'm here with Matt Stewart.
Hey Dave, how's it going? So good to be here.
Great to be here with you, but not as always. We are joined by a special guest today. It's Cass Paige.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Cass Paige.
It was good to go from my house and come on this episode with you.
That's great. If do go is in capitals and the rest is in very lowercase, and then it goes back to on.
Oh, we got subscript happening.
We love that.
I told Cass before the show she has to say that in every sentence. That's the whole idea of this show. You've got to say "do go on" in every.
Yeah, that's right. Cass has never heard the show and she thinks that's what this is.
Oh, I do. Go on.
Damn, she's good.
Very good. Does the same thing on primates. Just every sentence is primates this, primates that. And yes, anyway, Dave, can you explain to Cass and the listeners, first timers, what this show is?
Well, Cass, we are so pleased to be joined by you this week. Thank you so much for coming along.
Thank you for having me.
What we do here is we take it in turns to report on a topic, often suggested by a listener. One of us takes that topic, goes away, does a bit of research, brings it back to the group.
People of the people, it sounds like.
Very nice of them to do that. And being Mr. Nice Guy this week, it's Matt Stewart's turn to report.
Oh.
And you can attest to this. It's some people think that we pretend that we don't know, but you and I genuinely don't know what Matt is about to report on.
No idea. He's got one of those laptops that you can't see the other side of. He's got a one-way laptop.
One-way laptop. How many two-way laptops have you seen in your time?
Look, I think Elon Musk has one.
Yeah, he would. Perf.
But I haven't seen it in real life. I've seen his Starlink in real life.
Up in the sky?
Yeah. Bonkers. I'm a man I know about only in sort of extract of mind, in my line of vision. Get off of the sky, mate. You're on the telly.
He's everywhere. Well, it's very possible that it could be a report on Elon Musk, but we always start with a question. Matt's going to ask us that question.
That's right. For new listeners, Jess is normally here, but she's not. No, that'd be for old listeners. New listeners wouldn't give a shit about that. Old listeners, Jess is fine. She's on a holiday.
She's on a vacay.
She is.
And we wish her all the best. She's having a great time out there. She's boogie boarding. She's climbing rocks, rock climbing, if you will, doing all sorts of things.
Abseiling.
Not sure if any of that's true, but she's having a good time. That's all we know.
That
High ropes
right.
course, I heard.
Yeah, exactly. She's very active, very outdoorsy.
All right, Cass. So this is the question.
Yes.
And someone is out there tallying the score, so you could get on the board if you answer this question correctly. But Dave is also obviously in the game as well.
I am currently on the board, but I'm the lowest on the board. So actually, this could go well for me either way, because if I get it right, I'll go up one. But if you get it right, there'll be someone below me now.
That is exciting. That's good.
You.
All right. And I try to write, because I don't know, I hadn't heard of this chapter of history before, so I'm assuming you two might not have either. So I'm asking the question in a way that you'll have a definite chance of answering.
Okay.
The question is, what card game does badass 1920s explorer share her name with? Jeez, that's poorly written. That doesn't make sense, does it?
A badass or just badass?
What card game
does badass?
So her first name's Ada, second name is a card game.
Ooh.
And she was on a relatively famous expedition in the 1920s. Famous back in the day, maybe not so famous now. So you just got to guess a card game, basically.
Okay.
Do you want to go first, Cass? You got a card game on the mind?
Okay, look, I'm going to throw away my first guess, which was Ada Up and Down the River.
That's a great name. But
Well, and it makes sense if she's an explorer of some sort.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it would make... if you got to pick your last names, I probably would do that one.
You pick that one?
No, but as if you and I personally, the humans that we got to pick our last names.
Well, I'd also pick this name, which conveniently is
very
also
cool.
a card game, Rummy.
No, it's not Rummy.
Good name, though.
We'll give you one last guess each. I'm going to give you a clue. It's a casino card game.
Blackjack.
Yes, correct.
Oh, Ada Blackjack?
Ada Blackjack.
That's cool.
Not even annoyed I didn't get that because that is awesome.
Yes.
I am. Oh,
You're on the board.
yeah. Oh,
Congratulations.
board on. You're welcome.
What a name. What an amazing name.
Ada Blackjack.
And-
That's a legit name.
Legit name, yes. And
Destined for greatness.
Ada Blackjack's story was suggested by listeners including Jessica Banazak in Perth, Western Australia, Alicia Moore from McKinney, Texas in the US, or Plato, Texas. She suggested it about a year apart from two different Texan postcodes.
Or she suggested it at home, commuted to work, and then thought, oh, did that go through? Well, I'm here now. I'll do it again.
That's possible. That is possible.
You got to double tap your submissions. That makes sense.
Chris Smith from Peoria in Illinois, USA, and Olivia Krieger in Calgary in Alberta, Canada. Okay, so I mean, it was slightly misleading maybe saying she's an explorer because that is not at all how she began, but she sort of in the end.
Right,
Anyway.
she wasn't a born explorer.
Wasn't born an explorer.
Like most are, you know.
No. Yeah, that's
They
right.
come out wearing khaki and they're ready to go with a safari hat.
So this all takes place in 1921 when a small crew set off from Nome. I should have looked up how to pronounce that. Nome in Alaska, heading for Wrangel Island, 85 miles off the northeast coast of Siberia. The expedition was charged with claiming the island for Canada and the British Empire. The crew was put together by another name I should have looked up the pronunciation of, Wilhelmur Stephenson. Stephenson was born in 1879 in Manitoba, Canada, and his parents had immigrated from Iceland 2 years prior, one of Dave's favourite countries.
Oh, I love it. Definitely in the top two.
Oh, do we have a one?
Yeah, sure. The Bahamas.
Fantastic
Number one.
choices. Iceland and the Bahamas. Classic bedfellows.
Yeah, that's right. You go to one, you cool off, and then warm up.
It's how to best treat any of your muscle pains. It's how the rich do it. They go to the Bahamas, they go to Iceland. They go to Bahamas, they go to
One
Iceland.
then the other. That's right.
Yep.
Until your legs are feeling good.
Yep.
So Stevenson went on to study at the University of Iowa and then and as well as the University of North Dakota. I don't know which order it was in. Probably doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then he went on to study anthropology at the Graduate School of Harvard. In 1904 and 1905, Stephenson was in his parents' homeland of Iceland conducting archaeological research. Then in the following years, he was recruited to be a part of the Anglo-American Polar Expedition. Very different thing. He's just showing some pictures.
So is he some sort of art curator or?
Yeah, that's right.
Look at everything I learnt at school.
Yeah, he's professional show and tell.
And then in 1906 and 07, he lived with the Inuit people of the Mackenzie Delta. Then according to a website called wikipedia.org, he and Dr.
Cass, you heard of this? Matt always brings that one up. Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, I'm trying to get the word out there. Very good website. They've
And you
got
think it's
stuff on most
trustworthy?
things. Yeah.
And so .org.
.org. Yeah, don't know
See-
what that's short for, but
It
sounds like fun to me. But anyway, from wikipedia.org, he and Dr. R.M. Anderson undertook the ethnological survey of the central Arctic coasts of the shores of North America from 1908 to 1912. So he's in work. He's getting out there. He loves the cold.
He's
He
all
loves
over the
checking
place.
things out.
You should go to the Bahamas and
there-
warm up.
he's gonna get bung muscles for sure.
Yeah, for sure. If you just stay cold,
Yeah.
it's all over. You're gonna freeze up.
No
And you-
warm up, all cool down. That's a recipe for pulling a muscle.
It's all cool down for this guy.
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe he needed to hit the Bahamas in between because the next thing he got up to was in 1913 when he organised and directed a Canadian Arctic expedition for the government of Canada. This expedition was ill-fated and is now referred to as the last voyage of the Karluk, which ended with nearly half of the 25-person party perishing. What a P sound. A lot of plosives there.
Ooh, is it nearly half because 25 isn't divisible by 2?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Was it 12, Matt?
I think it might have been 12.
Oh, gosh.
That's all. But do we have any information about anyone maybe losing a limb? Could it have been half? Frostbite does kill part of you.
That's true. Maybe enough fingers and toes went to make up another half person.
Yeah.
A half P.
How many fingers and toes make up half a P?
Oh, it's quite a few.
A few sets.
Yeah, be a few sets. Probably the remaining 13.
No one came out with fingers or toes.
One of those who died, one of the 12-ish who died was a guy called Alistair Mackey or Mackay. Does that ring a bell, Dave? He had previously been part of the Ernest Shackleton's Endurance or the Shackleton Antarctic
fantastic.
Expedition.
I know one of his descendants.
Really?
Yeah.
Because one of our episodes that people still talk about from years ago was Dave did a report about Shackleton's.
Yeah, it's an amazing story of survival. Very sad to hear that guy went through all of that only to die up north. But who's the descendant of Ernest Shackleton or someone on the Endurance?
Just a line down descendant of Ernest Shackleton.
Amazing.
Super lovely.
Name Shackleton?
Yeah. It's brilliant.
It's a great name.
It's so fun. You want to keep it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
And one of my favorite bands from high school wrote a song that referenced Shackleton.
What was your favorite band from high school?
Enter Shikari, and I'm trying to remember the name of their song. It was about how we need to save the environment.
Release the
because the polar caps were melting,
right?
And how Shackleton would be rolling in his grave.
A beautiful
with the way that we're treating the Arctic at the moment.
He loved the ice.
He loved the ice.
He didn't want to see it melted.
No, well that'd be sad.
But then I guess the captain of the Titanic, he'd be doing the opposite of rolling over in his grave, wouldn't he?
Melt that shit.
What's the opposite of rolling? He'd be lying
rockin'?
dead still in his grave.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely motionless with joy.
Just giving a couple of thumbs up. Keep melting it, guys.
So Stephenson, he had this career, getting in and amongst the ice.
But he obviously survived. He was one of the 13 survivors.
Yes, he was. And, I mean, I didn't go into too much detail because it feels like it could be a report in itself down the line. But there were accusations that he went off on a hunting expedition and he didn't realise that the boat was going to hit trouble. But some are like, he knew what he was doing. He was sort of fleeing.
Oh, as in he went off and was like, I'm doing my own thing.
I'm taking a few people. We're going to go get some food for everyone. And you guys stay here.
You guys good?
Do you guys want anything? We're going out.
Yeah,
Does anyone...
We're going to hit the casino.
You're good? Okay, what I'm hearing is you're good and we will go.
We'll go, yep. Cool.
Help. Sorry, kelp.
Kelp.
Yeah, I'll get you some kelp. No worries.
Yeah.
Just stay right there.
That's a sort of a seaweed.
Yes, no,
Can get you some of that.
Kelp us. Yeah, I'll kelp you.
Yeah, probably
Bring
doesn't
back some
count as
kelp.
hunting, so it will take longer now because that would be foraging, and I was planning to hunt. I thought you said honey expedition. It is tricky.
Imagine that. It would not go down well if you said, I'm off to a honey exhibition.
What?
We are cold and starving. Yeah, but, I've RSVP'd. I don't want to let these bees down. You know what these apiarists are like.
They worked really hard.
Take it a little too seriously.
Did you remember when that stuff came out where someone did all the equations required to figure out how much honey would cost if we paid bees a living wage, minimum wage?
No.
It was stupidly expensive. I asked because I couldn't remember the number, but imagine heaps.
Yeah, that does make some sense.
What are they spending
They're
their
not
living
just
wage
It's
on?
not like a single bee squirts a jar out a day or whatever. It'd be take quite a few of them.
That's the thing. It takes so many bees to go collect the little pollen pants. Have you seen bees after they've collected pollen? It looks like they're wearing little pants. It's really good. Their legs
Pollen
are all
pants.
fat with pollen. They look like the old-fashioned pants that go really fat at the thigh. It's brilliant. It's all the buzz. And when they go back to the thing, they have to turn it into honey, which is some sort of body process. And there's, I'm sure they didn't factor this in, but I would imagine there'd be some you'd probably get hot work pay, dangerous conditions
Right.
pay.
Oh, you work for one dictator as well.
Yeah, it's probably not great. not great working conditions. Hey, I just want to put it out there. Not work I'd love to do.
All right, you don't want to come back as a bee in your next life.
Yeah, imagine if like to buy ice, you had to pay all the individual molecules
A living wage.
a living wage. Like if you just want every molecule that made up the H2O, it would be expensive.
Yeah. Or maybe. Or what other things do animals get involved in? And we're just like, that's fine. Okay, figs. How figs have to have a wasp die in them to get pollinated or to grow into a fig or something.
Okay, I'm trying to remember what a fig is.
Figs are fruit. Tastes very good with blue cheese if you put it in the oven.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, Matt. You know. The blue cheese ornament.
Come on, they go well with a tasting platter.
Figs. I know fig jam is put down for someone who thinks they're pretty good.
Yeah. It's an acronym.
It's an acronym. Yes. Yes, it is. All right. Anyway, I've lost. So I guess the difference between my water and ice thing and yours is bees probably they're more. Is water alive? You know, where do you draw a line there?
Oh, some people have hard boundaries.
I'm actually a level 17, so.
Yeah, ice can cast a shadow. Water has difficulty, but ice definitely does. So.
Really? Okay, that's where I draw the line between water and ice. Anyway.
So, but I think you were trying to say that we're a bit sus on this guy.
Yeah, I think he's, how good at it he is. But anyway, he's
very good at it if he knows when to. Sometimes the best thing you can do is quit, and knowing when to quit is a skill. That's
right. Know when to hold him and fold him like his friend
Kenny.
Blackjack.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. When's she coming in?
Soon. Just setting it up because the only reason she gets over there is because of this guy Stephenson. He continued with explorations till 1918. At one point, apparently, he survived a 96-day stretch.
Same.
By only eating animals, Arctic animals he shot with his rifle. Is that same?
So he was carrying 96 bullets with him the whole time. It would have to be more because he's not going to get it every time.
Well, what if they line up in front of each other?
That's right.
And I don't think he had to eat one animal a day either. Maybe he had.
And is this a
thing? Might have shot a big one and had it over a few days.
96 days.
Okay, no, that genuinely helps me understand it a bit better.
But do you think is he proud of this? Like he's like, I went off and did this, or did he do it for survival?
I think it was for survival. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like bragging.
Yeah, it seemed to happen a bit where not as much was known about when ice was going to block your ships in and whatever. Not like all the stuff I know about it now. So by the time of the 1921 expedition, he had many years of experience surviving and exploring Arctic regions. With this in mind, how confident are you feeling about this upcoming expedition to Wrangel Island?
I'm feeling so confident. Like I said, this guy knows when to keep going and when to back off.
Right.
When to leave the party.
Okay, well that holds up. That definitely holds up. So this is from an article in Atlas Obscura written by Tessa Hulls, and she describes Stephenson as a charismatic Arctic explorer, but calls the expedition at best an ill-conceived venture. At worst, it was a willfully negligent act of astonishing hubris. Using the pull of his celebrity as a seasoned explorer, Stephenson assembled a team of 4 starstruck young men: Alan Crawford, 20, Lorne Knight, great name, 28, Fred Maurer, 28, and Milton Gall, 19, to claim Wrangel Island for the British Empire, even though Britain had never shown the slightest interest in wanting it. He's just taken it on himself for some reason to take this island off the coast of Siberia.
No one wants it. No one wants this, mate. He's like, I'll get it for you.
I'll get it. I'm going to go get it.
That's a classic tale, isn't it? Of being like, I'll bring this is for the Queen?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So he is a
Dave,
beast. So
1921? King.
Ah, King, okay.
And Queen.
Yeah. Well, there would have been a Queen as well. That's right.
The current Queen's dad, is that who we're dealing with in the 20s?
So our grand
Dave's
king.
our resident monarchist.
That's right. That's why actually I should say I do support the monarchy of bees. The Queen.
Yeah.
Respect to her.
I do too, and I do think we should pay. It must have sounded like I was trying to put down the bees by talking about ice, but I was really just trying to bring it back to the ice report, and really sounded like I was having a swipe at bees. But I love the work they do out there. I'm pretty sure, isn't it something like we wouldn't exist without them?
Yeah, well, they're pollinators, so a lot of our fruit and vegetable requires a bee or millions, and we need them to eat.
Okay. I love eating, so I love bees.
Pay bees a living wage.
Give bees a chance.
But
No. I'm not editing, so don't let me say anything else like that.
It was King George V.
Oh, so he was pretty much like, if I impress Dad, maybe I'll be good. Maybe everyone will think I'm good.
It's got that kind of vibe about it, doesn't it?
Also, I have noticed, maybe it's just the things I've read, but anytime a story starts off by describing someone as charismatic, it never ends well, does it?
Yeah.
When that's the leading trait, someone dies.
Yeah, they always use that charisma for something not so good.
Yeah, people have been sucked into something. It's normally a cult leader or something like that.
Someone wants to describe pretty much how it's not the victim's fault.
Yes.
You know?
How do they get pulled into this?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
they were charismatic.
You're about to question why someone would do this. Well, I need to say they were very charismatic.
Just to remind you, we all want friends. Okay.
So
Keep in mind your need for human connection as we go into this story.
So you know, all this experience Stephenson has, he's putting this team together. He wants to put the flag in there, claim it for Daddy.
This will make Dad love
Daddy
me.
George.
So obviously you'd assume that he'd be there in the expedition as part of the team, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure. Not just like controlling everything from Zoom or something.
Well, no, it was more of the Zoom option.
Checking in. Hey guys, how's it going out there? Great. Cool. I'm just sitting in front of my fire at home.
Yeah, that's
Seriously.
kind of. And Cass, you said before, like he knows when to quit, and I guess he pre-quit this one.
He never even went.
I guess if you're that charismatic, go into management. You know, you're halfway there.
Damn right. But so this is something that no one wants him to do, and then he can't even be asked doing it himself.
Yeah, that's right. So he helped fund it. I think he got the cash together.
Right.
But yeah, he for whatever reason he didn't go out there himself. According to Hulls, though Stephenson picked the team and funded the mission, he never had any intention of joining the party himself, and sent his woefully inexperienced team north with only 6 months of supply and hollow assurances that the friendly Arctic would provide ample game to augment their stores until a ship picked them up the following year.
The friendly Arctic.
That's in quotations. That's what he said. The rest, because I think Hulls maybe was overplaying the team's inexperience a bit. A couple of them, including Fred Moorer, for instance, was a relatively experienced seaman who had survived 8 months on Wrangel. He'd actually survived on Wrangel Island for 8 months, 7 years prior.
So he's been there.
He's been there.
If people have been there, how is he not? It must have been claimed, right?
Yeah, it's just off the coast of Siberia. I don't know. If
it already had a
Russia
name. The idea of claiming it is definitely. I'm guessing it's a violent thing they're going to try and do.
No, it's not an island that Britain even has its sights on. It's not like it's to them. They didn't see it as a useful space or anything. It was like a wilderness.
So hang on. When they say they're going to go claim it, then
yes,
what did they mean?
They just wanted to change the color on the maps. I guess you just went there and put a flag down.
So does that...
And then hope that everyone else is like, yeah, that flag counts, even though this is kind of already Russia.
And the guy's already been there.
Yeah. They're popping in and out.
I've lived there.
There's a jet ski zooming around outside.
Then why go?
There's a general store.
Why go is a great question.
It would be cheaper to just print new maps and tell lies.
Yeah, exactly.
Just say,
there's a flag there. You just have a look.
Who's going to check? When did those girls figure out how to fake the fairy photographs? They were children, you know? That was
similar time to this, yeah.
yeah, exactly. It would have been. They could have faked it.
He also, I think it was also for scientific research, which is often, the secondary reason.
Oh yeah, like how we've discovered
Number one
Galacticus
glory.
turtles are delicious.
Yeah. And yeah, so the idea of this boat coming a year down the track to pick them up, others said it's one of those stories that isn't super well documented, so there's varying details about it. Some were like the ship was coming to pick them up. Some were saying they were meant to be there for 2 years and it was going to drop off supplies, or maybe drop off supplies and change over the crew. But anyway, a ship was meant to be coming the following year, either way. And that was all part of it. You only need 6 months of supplies, heaps of animals to kill and eat there. So
Great. I mean,
no stress. Anyway, I'm at home with my feet up.
If one of the guys has already been there, surely he would know if that's a lie or not, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They're like, oh, no, since you live there, we've actually dropped off like 10,000 cattle. So there's heaps of meat.
It's totally different to when you were there, for sure.
Great, because it was barren when I was there.
Also, wait, how old? Well, he would have been 20 or 21 when he was there. So I imagine when he was there, he would have been a young apprentice or whatever seaman. So potentially, it's hard to know how much he would have actually known. Now he's going as a senior member of the party. All of them are senior members. There's not many of them.
But he wasn't very observant as a child.
Who knows? Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. So Mora, who survived time on Wrangel Island, that was in 1914 after the shipwreck of the Karluk, which I talked about before.
Oh.
So they wrecked on that island?
Yeah, it wrecked near that island in ice. I think it's that area. Does the ice just grow out from a landmass, because the water's freezing or whatever?
Yeah, well, if the water's freezing, then that's ice.
Yeah, so I guess maybe he was near the island or whatever.
And also, I think pack ice drifts quite a lot too.
Yeah, they talk about that a lot. That was and that was part of it. That ice drifted. So I don't think he would have had memories of it like, oh, it's a great spot to hang out.
Oh, beautiful spot.
He was probably just like, oh, I'm excited to go there on purpose.
Yeah, last time was an unhappy accident.
Yeah. This time I'll absolutely dominate because I'm prepared. For 6 months at least. Wikipedia.org suggests the explorers were handpicked by Stephenson based upon their previous experience and academic credentials. Stephenson considered those with advanced knowledge in the fields of geography and other sciences for the expedition. So Wikipedia is more like that. One article by Hales was like, they're so underprepared. Wikipedia is like, no, he picked a pretty good team here.
Well, I suppose one's looking at it from the perspective of this is what he did at the time. He chose prepared people, and this .org site is really, really suggesting that. Oh no, the other one. It was the other article, wasn't it?
Yeah, Hulls.
Oh well, that's we know that now.
Yeah,
we know they were woefully underprepared now.
Yes, that's right. Easy to say.
Yeah.
Atlas Obscura.
Oh come on, Atlas Obscura. He was charismatic.
So we're short one member of the final five. Five go. And the fifth and final member of the party was Ada Blackjack. According to Katie Serena, writing for All That's Interesting, though the crew was vastly underexperienced for the mission, Stephenson believed they were well enough equipped to manage for themselves apart from one thing. They needed a seamstress, preferably an Alaskan native who spoke English. And this is where Blackjack comes in. Serena continues, as an Inupiat woman, indigenous to Alaska, Blackjack was expected to have been taught survival and hunting skills. However, being raised by Methodist missionaries, she was given almost no practical survival skills. She did, however, know English, at least enough to read the Bible. So there was an assumption made that because she was an Inupiat woman, she would have survival skills out in the icy wilderness, but she wasn't brought up in that way.
No one asked.
It seems like it, yeah.
This woman's history seems like it's just stacks of racism on top of each other.
Yep.
Oh no.
But, I mean, doesn't that make it more satisfying that she's the badass of the story?
Oh, yeah.
She needed money. The article goes on to say she needed money badly at the time after her husband had run out on her, leaving her with a 5-year-old son. She had nearly no money. Her son Bennett suffered from tuberculosis and his care was too expensive for Blackjack to manage. So upon hearing that there was an expedition that needed an English-speaking Alaskan native with sewing experience and was willing to pay a then unheard of $50 a month, she jumped at the chance. So she took this up. She took up the option. It wasn't particularly well suited to her, but she was kind of desperate, and that's why she went along.
Oh, man, we've all applied for a job that we thought, I don't know if I could get this.
Oh, you're like, am I qualified?
Yeah,
And then
I
they
don't know.
hire you and you think, well, do you know what? At this point, it's their fault
Yeah, that's right.
if they didn't check properly. I have the job. I did all my piece.
Yeah.
It's their fault if they chose wrong. And I can't assume responsibility for that. I will only assume responsibility for my money. Thank you very much.
But also, she was exactly what they asked for.
Yeah, she filled the job description. She didn't. I'm guessing they didn't ask, and therefore she didn't know that they were assuming a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So who was Ada Blackjack? Well, according to Hulse, Blackjack wasn't her birth name. That was one of the good things her husband left her with. It's a great name. Her original name's also great, Ada Delatuck. She was born in 1898 in Spruce Creek, Alaska, a remote settlement north of the Arctic Circle near the gold rush town of Nome, Nome, however you pronounce that. History has largely forgotten her, though Jennifer Niven's 2004 biography, Ada Blackjack, A True Story of Survival in the Arctic, painted a comprehensive picture of her life. And I think that story was really what brought her story into the modern mind world.
I'm so glad to be part of the modern mind world.
Wow, I feel like I'm there right now.
Thanks so much for helping me out, you two.
Hey, sometimes you just let the man go.
Let the man flounder. You never know what genius will come up from a floundering man.
Yeah.
Mind world.
you see his hand waving out of the water and you give him a high five.
Yeah, you got this, buddy. And you jet ski away.
What's the word I was trying to say?
Zeitgeist?
Zeitgeist. It's even better than what I was
It might
grasping
be.
for.
I hope that's right. If I'm not right, don't tell me.
I'm not sure if her story is quite in the zeitgeist, but it's at least in the...
It's in the Geist. I don't
in
know
the
what these
Geist.
words mean.
It's in the Geist, if not the Zeit. The article goes on. It says, at the age of 16, she married Jack Blackjack, which is amazing.
Jack
No.
Blackjack.
A local dog musher, and together they had 3 children.
A dog what? Sorry?
Musher? I'm assuming it's someone who mushes dogs.
Oh, when you have pets and you're like, mush.
I guess so.
Like, go.
I hope it's not actually just like smushing them into little paste or something.
Come here, Fido.
I'm a dog food maker. No. I'm not a dog food maker.
Together they had 3 children. 2 died young before Bennett came along.
So Bennett Blackjack.
Yes.
That's a great name too.
Very good.
But then Jack deserted Ada on the Seaward Peninsula in 1921. The Abandoned Blackjack. This is
You don't need
wild
to
if
censor
true.
yourself.
Because there was another story, another article suggested he drowned, but this one suggests he just left her and her kid or their kid, and she had to walk 40 miles back to Nome with her 5-year-old son Bennett. When he was too tired to walk, she carried him. The boy suffered from tuberculosis, like I said before, and Blackjack lacked the resources to properly care for him. Destitute, she placed Bennett in a local orphanage, vowing that she would find a way to make enough money to bring him back home. It was during this time that Blackjack heard word of an expedition heading for Wrangel Island. They were seeking an Alaska native seamstress who spoke English. She's like, well, that's me. Article continues. Blackjack had many misgivings about shipping out with an expedition of 4 men, especially as she had initially been promised she would be one of many Alaskan natives in the party. But the odd jobs of sewing and housekeeping she was picking up in Nome were never going to be enough to bring Bennett home, and the Wrangel Island expedition promised a salary of $50 a month, which was huge to her then. But she rocked up ready to go, expecting there to be a bunch of other Alaskans there, and she was the only one. So it was the five of them. There was meant to be a few families there as well. She was going to be hanging out with, sort of.
Brave gal.
I think at one point, the idea was that the women were going to be sewing and that sort of stuff, and the men were going to be hunting, and then I guess the other four guys are just going to be concentrating on planting the flag.
Doing that thing that with the flag where you need a bunch of guys and you got to push it into place from flat.
Yes.
I've only seen one picture.
Stephenson wrote in his 1925 book about the expedition, so that gives away a bit that he survived from his home.
Spoilers!
I wouldn't know how to put that together, so thanks for pointing that out.
He wrote a book called The Adventure of Wrangel Island. It's so rich that he's writing a book.
From his armchair.
So this is from it. The Wrangel party tried to engage at Nome some Inupiat families, and did so actually, but when the time came to sail, there arrived at the boat landing only Ada Blackjack, who had been expecting to go along as a member of one of these families engaged. I love the slightly flowery way of writing back then. As a member of one of those families engaged. When she found that the others had broken their bargain, she also wanted to withdraw, but was prevailed upon to go by the assurance that the ship, the Silver Wave, would call in at a settlement between Nome and Wrangel to hire families in which Ada could then take her place. So they're like, we'll get some families along the way. They did not do that. Yes.
Do you think they even tried to do that, or they just sailed on?
I couldn't. It's unclear, but yeah, maybe they tried. But so the travelling party of 5 was complete: Crawford, Knight, Mora, Gall, and Blackjack.
That sounds like a magic spell.
They're all great names, aren't they?
Yeah.
On September the 9th, 1921, the crew of 5, plus a cat named Vic, set sail from Nome.
Crew of 6?
On the Silver Wave.
Yeah, come on, was that the captain? Captain Vic?
Captain Cat. And I'm pretty sure, I don't think they were sailing this ship. I think they were just they were getting dropped off by the ship. Although nothing makes that all that clear either. The Silver Wave arrived on Wrangel Island on September 16th, so it took a week to get there, not the longest voyage. In a dictated statement printed in Stephenson's book, Blackjack wrote, "When we got to Wrangel Island, the land looked very large to me, but they said that it was only a small island. I thought at first that I would turn back, but I decided it wouldn't be fair to the boys. Soon after we arrived, I started to sew." According to an article on lit site alaska.org, by Alexandra J. McClanahan, the island encompasses an area of about 2,000 square miles. It's 80 miles long and 18 to 30 miles wide, which makes it about half the size of Puerto Rico, which is how I like to have things measured.
Okay.
How many Puerto Ricos is this island?
How many Puerto Ricos is this island that we're on?
Oh,
do we know?
Australia.
Yeah.
I would say
Lots.
a lot of them. Is that specific enough?
How many Puerto Ricos is Tasmania? I want to know how big this small island is.
It's pretty long, 80 miles long. Matt's pulled out the phone.
Oh, no.
So it's like 10 Eminem origin stories.
How many Puerto Ricos would fit in Tasmania? Is it going to know that?
I doubt it.
Imagine if you're asking Google a question it's never heard before.
That's right. You get a Google whack here.
Results from a search.
Came up with how many times would Tasmania fit inside Victoria? That's not the question I asked. This is why I trust only .orgs, not .coms.
How about you continue on and I'll work it out.
Thank you so much, Dave. The party planted a Canadian flag on their arrival, and Crawford sent a letter back to Stephenson, which was received a month later, saying, "Arrived at Wrangel Island last night. Letter to you contains documents. Lots of driftwood and tracks. Looking forward to good winter. No ice yet." This was the only word received from the party.
Oh, no.
Because I think they just sent this letter back with the ship. There was no plan for communication apart from that. So they're out on this island without any way of getting back or communicating.
So they got to the island, put a flag up, and they're like, whew, time to set up camp
Yeah.
and wait a year. When you said that it was going to be a year till like a ship picked them up, I was thinking, oh, there must be a really long travel time. It was only a week.
Yeah, that's right. Just basically swim home.
Yeah.
Basically.
If there's
would've,
driftwood, just grab it.
Yeah, just drift on the wood. Jump on. Stand on one, use the other one as a paddle.
It's
Easy.
a 2-step process. It's fine.
Oh, well, I have an answer to the question.
Oh, yes?
Tasmania is 7.5 Puerto Ricos.
7.5 Puerto
So
Ricos.
this island would be fit into Tasmania 15 times.
Okay.
We presume if it's...
Cass, does that help?
Okay. So we're thinking 1/15 of Tasmania.
That's what you're imagining.
Okay, that's pretty... Now I also have to consider that I'm small. So if I were to stand on 1/15 of Tasmania, I'd be like, I can't see the end of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like it's big. It's not. Some articles talked about it like a speck in the sea, but it's very visible on maps. You know, it's like it's not tiny. It's a
Yeah.
decent chunk of
Some islands are tiny.
island.
I think my great-grandma
Name
grew
one.
up on
Name one.
Ocean Island. My great-grandma grew up on there. I think it was like 3 kilometers by 3 kilometers.
Well, I don't know it, so I'm gonna have to assume you're lying.
Yeah, well, fair enough. It's not on a lot of maps. It's too small.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I actually, yeah, it's a real island. It's just not on any maps.
Yeah,
Too small.
it's a real island, but I actually don't know how it's doing with global warming, to be honest.
It reminds me of when a guy at school said he won a world surfing championship, and we said, "Oh, cool! Can we see the trophy?" And he said, "Oh, it was too big to fit on the plane." Sort of similar to that, only yours is small. His was too big.
Yeah, it's too small to see on a map. The island is real. It just goes to a different globe.
Same guy said he got bitten by a shark, but wouldn't be able to show us the scar because it was too cold.
It was
Too cold to lift his shirt.
Do you believe him?
Yeah, of course.
Great.
well. I mean,
Very trusting man.
you'd be a fool not to believe him. I mean, you don't become the world champion of surfing without encountering a shark or two. I'm surprised he
Exactly.
only had the one bite. You know?
He's lucky.
Yeah, only one that he told us about. He wasn't the kind of guy who would just go around telling everyone things that had happened to him.
God, no. What? You don't want to brag.
No, not that kind of character.
He doesn't like attention.
So Stephenson's back home now claiming, getting into the media, claiming the success of the mission. A New York Times article ran a little while later saying, Stephenson claims Wrangel Island for Great Britain. The expedition he sent out last fall has established possession, says Explorer. Timed to forestall Japan. He's telling people, he's like, Japan's after it. If we don't get it, Japan's going to get it. No proof of this at all.
No one's saying Japan's not coming after it, though. Who you
I got
going to
it just
believe? The
before
guy.
them. I bet they probably just turned around because they saw us here.
They're like, damn, look at that flag.
Look at that flag.
Damn
It's
it.
clearly theirs now.
Well, back,
Oh no, it's the same colours as ours. We gotta get in there.
well, back to Japan.
Stephenson denies that this is still from New York Times. Stephenson denies that Russia, to whom the island is allotted on maps, has any right to it. I reckon once it's allotted on the map, there's got to be at least a discussion about whether or not they have a right to it.
I mean, that very much. I feel like that's them showing their whole ass there, just coming along and be like, there's actually no reason. It's theirs. It's like, buddy, do you have a reason it's yours?
No, I mean, people from your country and your kingdom, your Commonwealth, aren't even claiming they want it. The king's like, what are you talking about?
All of that, does that sound like I've just read a few, like a paragraph of the article? That was the headline and sub-headlines.
Wow, just to suck you in.
Yeah. It really feels like you've told us the whole story there.
What's the opposite of burying a lead?
So he's back at home, comfortable. I'm picturing him in front of a fire,
Me
feet
so
up.
was I.
Me too, like
Feet
mahogany.
up
Yes.
on a stool.
Yes,
For
exactly.
sure, yeah, like it's roaring. Like he's got
Yeah.
a copy.
Phone's ringing hot, just going, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're having great success.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
Feet in
Us,
socks,
me and the
blanket
team.
over legs.
Yeah. So meanwhile, his crew is settling in on Wrangel Island. Due to Stephenson's assurances that they would be able to easily live off the land, and the idea that there was a ship coming next year with more supplies anyway. They only had the supplies for the 6 months. And I'm like reading this going, uh-oh. And at first, the party found things pretty much as Stephenson promised. According to Serena, with her article from the bloody All That's Interesting, the crew arrived as winter dawned, but were well stocked with enough supplies to last through the cold months. Then when the spring came, along with it came plentiful game. Throughout the summer, the crew survived by hunting and fishing. McClanahan continues, they stayed at first in a tent, then built a snow house, and in the spring of 1922, the men killed more than 30 seals and 10 polar bears, as well as geese and ducks. It's a 5-person crew.
2 polar bears each.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Can you eat polar bears?
Or maybe they were just having a go. Maybe they couldn't eat polar bears. Or maybe they had a seamstress. Maybe they just wanted the skin.
Right, that's true.
You got to think of how they keep... I mean, you're probably seeing a polar bear being like, that's the warmest guy here.
Yeah.
I got to get in one of those.
Yeah, in my head, I assume they would have packed jackets, but why is the seamstress there otherwise? Why not? Why do you need to have things made?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Why do you
What?
take like your jacket and then 2 backups or something?
Yeah.
Each? But she's got like
What a luxury in a 5-person crew. One of them's a tailor.
like constantly.
Do you need those pants taken up?
Yeah.
Every day she's just like, what do we
walking
need
around
done
with
here?
a measuring tape. Oh,
Maybe to make tents and stuff, but
Maybe-
even those, would you, or maybe repairing
I mean, you
stuff
eat
like
enough
that?
seal, you're going to need your pants let out. You're expanding.
I mean, I assume it's to... When you said that, I assumed it was to make things out of fur, because if you are as warm
Yes.
as the animals, then you've
Yeah,
done it.
You're right, but like if there's 5 people, it's not like they're having kids or anything. They don't have
No.
new people to look after.
Yeah.
Once you've got enough jackets each.
Matt did say she pulled up, she started sewing. Did she then just kind of stop? Hang on, if she pulled up and started sewing, what was she sewing?
Yeah,
She had a week on the ship.
But do they turn up and they're wearing board shorts and they're like, shit, Blackjack, come on.
Hey,
I'm cold.
anything you need, you can buy there at Wrangel Island.
That's right. Yeah, I've only bought carry-on. It's so much cheaper.
I bought 35 pairs of underwear in case I shit myself 32 times, but then I realized we're here for a year.
Oh, no, I need
Can I
other
put
stuff.
in order?
Can you sew me up some more underwears?
Can I please have 500 pairs of underwear?
So, Blackjack, she kept a diary, and so there's bits and pieces that are straight from her writing pen, or they also had a typewriter, so one or the other, different times. But according to Blackjack, the meat seemed to be plentiful, and that summer, Knight went off by himself to explore and swam across the Skeleton River. Which doesn't... sounds like a bad
Don't do
Don't.
that.
If it's gotten that name,
Stay
Yeah.
away.
and we're in the old times, and people called them as they sees them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
Well, he was never well again after that.
Okay.
That checks out. That does check out.
Never well again. What does that mean?
He was sickly, and they weren't sure why. Throughout the summer, the group waited for the supply boat to arrive, but Stephenson's promise boat had been unable to reach the island because of ice. I love the name of the boat. It's called the Teddy Bear. And because they didn't have any communication equipment, the Teddy Bear couldn't communicate to them that, hey, we're nearby, but we can't. We're caught in the ice. We're not going to be able to make it. You better keep thinking of other plans to make it.
Yeah, it's
And-
like maybe stock up on some meat for
Yeah.
later.
I mean, you've got 10 bears. You reckon you could make them last? Bears are famously good for making it through the winter. I assume that's what that is about. So the New York Times ran a headline then saying, Arctic rescuers on the teddy bear caught in the ice. If you didn't know, you'd be like, the fuck are you talking about? Arctic rescue. It sounds like the editor's tripping.
Do you reckon that's something you kept up with? Do you reckon you could have? So in the old times, because you don't get a lot of correspondence, right? So you just read the paper, and every few months you'd be like, oh, the teddy bear. Would you have your favorite ships?
Oh, I'm sure. Back then,
Not much going on.
you really need something to do, don't you?
Yeah. Or genuinely, you probably would have had some that you waved off, and then you'd read in the paper, be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
Hey,
you
I
got
sent that one off.
yeah,
you
I
gotta-
was there.
You got a cork board of all the articles on it pinned to your bedroom wall. So, and was that just the headline, or was that?
That was I just thought it was a funny headline.
It is.
But I mean, the article obviously it's again a lot of it's a lot of Stephenson talking about how great everything's going. No, we're not meant to have been able to hear from him. He's like a couple of them. I reckon they're probably not enjoying the cold. No, it's like that. It's so funny. He's had no ability to find out how they're doing. Months and months have passed.
They're great, I assume.
Yeah. One of them's sick, never to recover. He doesn't know that. By late fall, conditions worsened for the group, and there was now little meat. On January the 8th, Knight and Crawford took the dogs and left for Siberia to get help, but they returned within a couple of weeks because Knight was too sick and weak to travel. They're like, he swam across Skeleton River.
What was he thinking?
It's mostly ghoul now. Poor man.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
The sickness was a mystery to the crew, but I mean, to me, it doesn't connect at all to the Skeleton River. I think it was just coincidence because they now think he was likely suffering from a severe case of undiagnosed scurvy. Probably not a lot of lemon trees on that.
You reckon he got that in Skeleton River?
I reckon he might have. It sucked all the lemon juice out of him.
All the vitamin C
Yeah.
went into the sea.
On January the 28th, 1923, the crew was starving and running out of options for food.
I mean, it was foolish to send two people for help, and one of them is your most sickly dude.
Well, I assume they thought he was okay. He was sick, but he's not going to be sick forever and never recover with something that we haven't diagnosed.
Gosh, and
they didn't figure out that they had to put him back in the Skeleton River for the skeletons to return his soul.
Yeah,
no one clocked it.
Wait for high tide.
They didn't know about scurvy yet.
So now they're starving.
Yes.
Oh dear.
But they had so many.
30 seals. I mean, how quickly can you eat
They must have been
seals?
like living it up like kings.
Yeah.
New seal? Oh, there's a bit left on that one. Who cares? Throw it out. New one.
Crack open a new one.
Crack open a new seal.
So they're struggling, running out of options, and the three, quote, healthy men, Gall, Mora, and Crawford, left Blackjack to look after Knight and set off on foot to cross the Siberian ice in an attempt to find help. In her journal, Blackjack wrote, "They promised that they would come back after they got to Nome with a ship if they could, and if they couldn't, they would come over with a dog team next winter. They left with a team of 5 dogs and a big sled of supplies." So isn't that funny? It's like, were they the last supplies that they left with? That big sled of supplies?
Just eat the dogs.
Yeah, this is the first time these dogs have come up.
Yeah. So they just...
You saying eat the dogs.
No, I'm saying...
But I mean, once you've eaten the dogs...
You can't get out now.
Then you can't get out.
Then why didn't they go with the dogs?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just a space thing, but I mean, she said herself, and maybe was her point. Big sled of supplies. Maybe that was her point in her diary going, it's pretty big. I'm not saying anything, but that was a pretty big sled of supplies.
I'm sure they accounted for this, but in my mind, if you're feeding dogs, you have to feed them meat, which means it's stuff that you could be eating.
So
yeah, but I suppose that if they travel so fast,
yes,
they'll cover ground that you couldn't
and also,
cover.
if you got a guy who's sick and bedridden, he's maybe not surviving. They'd have to camp out in rougher conditions in like a built-up snow house. I don't know. You ask good questions, and I just think I'm giving pretty good answers.
I like them.
I'm sweating.
In my mind, I know this is wrong. I want to put that out there. But in my mind, I'm like, just have everyone lie down on the sled so it's less air resistant.
Yeah.
And then the dogs will be fine.
Yes, and everyone keeps warm.
Wait
Body
till
warmth.
it rains a little bit and then the snow's slippery.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Slide home.
Find a hill. Roll.
Tuck and roll.
So they left with their team of 5 dogs, the big sled of supplies, and those 3 men were never seen again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, what about the dogs?
The dogs, they're still around
Oh, they're
today.
fine.
Do we know anything about the cat?
Yeah, Cat stayed at the camp. So The cat didn't go off with the dogs.
Cats are survivors.
Yeah.
I'd be like thinking, cat, wherever you're going, I'm
I'm hanging
going.
with the cat.
That's right. So they've gone off, never seen again. Well, they heard from again,
No.
tasted again.
No.
Did someone eat them?
According to Serena, no word of them reaching any Siberian towns was ever recorded. So they're lost out there on the ice somewhere.
Should we find them?
I mean, their bones would still be out there, right? Maybe it's Skeleton River. That's the first place I'd look for bones.
Have you checked Skeleton River?
Huh?
So now it's Blackjack, this sick guy, and Captain Cat
Yes.
hanging out
Vic the cat.
in their structure.
Yes, that's right.
And of course you wouldn't want to eat the cat, but you would think about it every day, right?
Yeah. As you're feeding it, you'd be like, you fucking
That's
cat.
the thing. Again, cats eat meat, which means you could be eating what the cat's eating.
Oh, do you want to be eating cat food?
How
How desperate are you? How long before you get into the whiskers?
I don't know. I look at cat food and I think maybe more dog food, but some of that stuff, some of it looks pretty good to me.
Oh, the wet food with the jelly?
Yeah, maybe not the wet food.
You prefer
Are you
like,
thinking?
dog biscuits.
you like dry food?
Are we going like?
Chum, so chunky you can carve it. That's what I'm into. Cut me up a slice of that.
Oh, yum. Do you want to heat it up or cold's fine? Straight out of the fridge.
Oh,
Yeah, straight out of the fridge.
feel a bit like Devon or Fritz if it's straight out the fridge.
Yeah, nice thin
It's like a little
slice.
deli
Oh.
slice treat.
Bit of cheese,
Beautiful. Bit of
pepper, tomato.
fig and
Lovely.
blue cheese. straight in
tomato
the oven.
sauce between just some
Oh,
white
yeah.
bread.
Fantastic.
I started salivating.
Tomato sauce just between white bread, including the dog food or just...
Oh, including the dog.
Okay, I think you just started naming things you like to eat. And then a lasagna, imagine. Oof.
And you'd just have some of the crunchy stuff for, an appetizer.
Yeah, or a garnish.
Hors d'oeuvres.
I think, if we're working with this, I think it's important to mix our textures to really elevate the palate. So if we've got the soft on the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
just maybe a little bit of the dog biscuits in it.
Has croutons.
Like maybe crumbed up a bit fine.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it surprises your mouth. You're like, what am I eating? What is this?
If I'm ever going on an expedition, you're coming as chef.
We've got our dog food chef here.
It's like if you can make me hungry based on dog food, I reckon. I mean, I did a lot of that myself, but
It was a team effort. We're all hungry for dog food now.
Oh, yeah. I'm going wacko for smacko right now.
We're all chums chum.
so Blackjack and the Unwell Knight are alone at camp. Unbeknownst to them, they're the only ones who anyone even knows what happened to them from here. Knight's bedridden. So it's sort of like Blackjack and Knight are left to fend for themselves, but really it's Blackjack is left to fend for both of them.
And the cat.
And the cat. Well, the cat's probably looking after itself, as cats do. According to Serena, Blackjack took over the duties of the three men in addition to her own. Day in and day
She's still sewing.
She's still doing it.
Still making new outfits. Gosh, I got to fill this order.
Wait, what are the duties she's doing?
I guess she's expecting them to come, maybe they'll come back.
Oh, they'll be
need
furious if they
their-
come back and
their
I haven't-
spring collection.
haven't made a new autumn wear.
So day in and day out, she stacked wood, cared for Knight, hunted for food, made dinner, and tended to the camp. She was the chef and the seamstress.
Great.
Recording all of her activities in a diary or typing them out on the ship's typewriter, which I love that they brought that, but not enough food supplies. Although it does sound like it that they had enough meat to last. I mean, I don't know. I'm no meat expert, but feels like 10 polar bears should see out a couple of years. They would have kept all right in the ice.
You would have thought you could have made like a little ice box out of them. They needed some food preservation experts.
Yeah.
Once saw someone doing survivalist stuff, and they smoked enough fish to last them 6 weeks.
Wow.
Whoa.
But then they got that thing where like paradoxical undressing. And if you get really, really cold, you think you're hot and you take all your clothes off.
Yes.
That can happen if you are very, very hungry as well. He hoarded food enough for 6 weeks and then was starving to death.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a thing that happens.
So hungry that you think you're full.
Well, I assume
I have the
what it
opposite of
was
that
is because
sometimes.
he was so lacking in food, he just kept storing it, but he just didn't eat any.
You think I can't eat it now?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got to make this
It's
last.
like me as a kid with Easter eggs.
Gonna have this now.
Next Easter comes around, I go, oh, double Easter eggs this year. According to a 1924 LA Times article, she served as doctor, nurse, companion, servant, and huntswoman in one.
Love that. Is she wearing different hats for these
Different
roles?
hats, yes. She sewed herself up multiple different hats. According to McClanahan, she kept a bag of warm sand at Knight's feet and sewed pillows of oatmeal sacks stuffed with cotton to ease his bed sores. Just sounds like she's dominating. She's just nailing everything.
Yeah,
God.
and she had no survival skills before.
Yeah,
this.
supposedly.
Amazing.
I'm guessing you're thinking Knight must be appreciating this.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, apparently he did not. According to Hull, the dying man projected the rage he felt over his helplessness onto her, criticizing her constantly for not taking better care of him. Blackjack did not outwardly allow his blows to land, but confided in her diary, writing, "He never stopped to think how much it's hard for women to take for man's place, to woodwork and to hunt for something to eat for him and do waiting to his bed and take his shit out for him." Just like, it's so funny. She's like, hey, he's never really, I'm doing everything. She sounds so patient even in her private diary. She's like, has he ever thought about how I'm doing all the things? And he's still saying I'm not doing enough?
Yeah, it's your diary. You can just be as mean as you want.
Yeah, but still sort of,
considering like,
she's been kind
let's
of
think
generous.
about his
Like,
mental state.
Yeah.
he's never stopped to think. This went on for months. Knight finally succumbed to his illness, though, on June the 23rd, 1923. So there was a few months of this, her working, doing all the jobs and keeping two of them
Jeez.
I
alive.
wonder if you feel relief or you think, oh no, now I'm alone.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
fully.
no companion, but also he was a bit of a prick.
Yeah, and I was having to do a lot of
Yeah,
work
did a
just
lot
to
of
keep
work.
him going in a way that he's not happy.
Yeah,
but I
but-
guess you'd be hoping that someone's coming to rescue you any day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what keeps
Try
you
and
going.
take it day by
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, you'd have less to do, and that could potentially be horrible.
Right.
True,
Alone
yeah.
with nothing to do and
Yeah.
no idea if anyone's coming. Yeah.
I mean, in my life of luxury, I'm like, I just like cooking more if I'm cooking for another person. So I can't even imagine what this would be like.
She recorded the event on the camp's typewriter, writing, "The date of Mr. Knight's death, he died on June 23rd. I don't know what time he died, though. Anyway, I'll write the date just to let Mr. Stephenson know what month he died and what date of the month. Written by Mrs. Ada Blackjack." I was just like, I don't really care. Just in case Stephenson wants to know. This is the date.
Anyway.
Don't know what time. Sorry, I'm really busy.
So Knight's death left Blackjack as the last surviving member of the party. And for someone without any real experience in the Arctic elements, this must have been a challenging scenario to say the least. But thinking of returning to her son back in Alaska, Blackjack got to work. Surviving, Serena continues. As she didn't have the strength to bury Knight's body, she left him in his sleeping bag and constructed a wall of boxes and old supplies around him to protect him from animals and the elements. Then she moved into the storage tent and fortified it for survival. Basically, just because it was not a pleasant place to live anymore, because there was a very slowly decaying body in there. Because it was still cold, but
Oh, yeah, he's on ice.
yeah. Article goes on. Using old supplies and boxes, she constructed a cupboard in which she kept her field glasses and ammunition, as well as a gun rack where she kept her rifle and a raised platform that she could hunt from.
I wish I could see this. This sounds amazing.
It's so sick. I think there are photos. For a woman who had spent her life terrified by polar bears, isn't that amazing? She always had this big fear of polar bears.
Oh my God.
By 2 years into her journey, Ada Blackjack was a natural at tracking them. Though she didn't hunt them, she tracked them to find out where other prey was so that she could hunt that, and also to make sure they didn't get too close to her camp. There were close calls. At one point, when she was out hunting, she barely escaped an attack from a mother polar bear and her cub. She wrote of the ordeal, "Finally, I realized it was a polar bear and I was 400 yards from my tent. I turned and ran, and just as hard as I could until I got to my tent. I was just about ready to faint when I got there too." Still pretty chilled about it. Hull writes, "For 3 months, Blackjack was alone. She learned how to set traps to lure white foxes." Says she learned. I mean, she taught herself.
Is she getting a YouTube tutorial? Like, how do you finding out how to do that?
That's wild, right?
That you're right. That language is wrong. She self-taught everything. Self-taught tracker, self-taught wood mechanic.
Yeah, I guess some of the others, there might have been things she picked up, and then there would have been equipment around she just figured out how to use.
Yeah.
She built up that stand so she basically had a spot to look out and protect the camp from polar bears on watch.
So she's also her own sentry.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So she taught herself to shoot birds, build a platform above her shelter so she could spot polar bears in the distance, crafted a skin boat from driftwood and stretched canvas after the one initially brought to the island was lost in a storm. She even experimented with the expedition's photography equipment, taking pictures of herself standing outside the camp. So there's a bunch of photos, and she just started teaching herself photography. In short, she was doing pretty well for herself. Like, I think it really, actually, you were saying with the night thing dying, is that?
Yeah, it sounds like she's excelled without it. Really.
Then on August the 20th, 1923, almost 2 years after landing,
2 years.
Harold Noyce and his crew aboard the Donaldson arrived to rescue.
Noise.
Noise. That's what she was thinking. Noise.
They arrived to rescue her, but rescues in inverted commas because didn't really need rescuing.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry. I thought
good.
They were about to
like,
enslave her or something horrific.
Hey, do we have cat updates right now?
Cat's still doing fine.
Yes!
Cat survived, so it's her and the cat.
Was she talking to the cat?
I gotta be talking to
You
the cat.
can't not talk to the cat. I was thinking as you were talking about how you would even mentally do anything. I'm like, you just would never. You would have to keep talking to yourself.
Yeah, you'd Wilson it.
You'd have to
talk
sing
to the
songs.
Talk to the cat,
Yeah.
and then do a diary every day, trying to get your thoughts out.
Yeah.
Maybe reading it out loud or something.
Yeah, just it's kind of interesting to think how many more skills she would have learned if she was there.
Yeah, no, Dave, you're
she
right.
invented podcasting.
She might have.
Just enough time.
They've just rocked up and...
So they've rocked up to rescue her. Harold Noyce. He used to work with old mate. I've said his name so many times. Who's the guy?
Stephenson.
Yeah,
I constantly picture him in a nightcap.
yeah, he's nodding off.
Yeah, a
with
real
a glass
long
of brandy in
one.
his hand. Oh, yeah, still kicking goals over there.
Fat red cheeks.
Where's the boat?
So Noyce and the crew arrive.
And have they been sent to find them?
Yeah, I think that's the idea. They know. Well, I think they're assuming everyone's going to still be there.
Yeah.
But rather than finding someone in dire need of rescue, like they were anticipating, the ship's crew noted that, quote, Blackjack had mastered her environment so far that it seems likely she could have lived there another year, although the isolation would have been a dreadful experience. The press dubbed Blackjack the female Robinson Crusoe, and Hull's Robinson Crusoe, classic book, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Have you got around to that one on
haven't
BookTube?
Haven't read it, no, but it was one of those first ones that was written as if it was a true story.
Right.
And published for a while. People were like, oh, this is a real guy.
Right. Well, Ada Blackjack is a real person.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
funny that it's called the female Robinson Crusoe, not the real Robinson Crusoe. Anyway, and Hulls continues. Sorry, as the feminist of the podcast, I had to throw that in.
You're a woman before you're real.
And Hulls continues. As news of the expedition's tragic end spread, Blackjack found herself at the epicenter of a flurry of press attention, lauding her as a hero and praising her for her courage. But the quiet seamstress shied away from the attention and titles, insisting that she was simply a mother who had needed to get home to her son. Not all the attention was positive, though. As McClanahan writes, she was criticised by one of her rescuers for not finding a way to save Knight's life.
Ugh.
You did. Why didn't you just cure his scurvy? That
That's right. You
still
learned-
don't know that that's what he died of.
You've learned everything else. Why didn't you enroll in medical school?
So strange.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I see you've got these like oat bags and warm sand to tend to him, but did you consider, I don't know, sucking the poison out of his wounds?
Leeches.
Like, did you bloodlet?
Always bloodlet.
But maybe this is nice though, because Knight's parents eventually vindicated her after meeting with her and issuing a statement that Blackjack had done everything possible to save their son's life. On her return, Hull says Ada was reunited with Bennett, her son, and
Yay!
used her payment, which was much less than she'd been promised.
I mean, $50 a month for 2 years, right?
Yeah. It's a step, like, I think it was even underpaid. Yeah, it was underpaid. The contract was for a year, and I think it was underpaid on even that.
Ugh.
Do you know what the modern equivalent would be monetarily?
Dave, can you look that up? 1921, $50.
Canadian dollars.
I think American, US,
Okay.
USD. But she used that payment to seek treatment for her son's tuberculosis in Seattle at the Seattle hospital. She later had a second son named Billy and returned to live in Alaska. Apparently, she got into she used some of her skills that she'd taught herself. She would hunt reindeer and stuff like or deer, some sort of deer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Big-
Good on the correction, because it's less getting into something and more continuing your natural talent.
Yeah, that's right.
Finally developed skills. Did you find out?
I do have a number from officialdata.org.
Oh.
Am I saying that right? Who have an
I
inflation
trust it.
calculator. $50 in 1921 is equivalent to just under $750 today.
So that's $750 US.
A
US.
month. So it's
So
About 1,000 Aussie dollars, so not...
12 grand.
and he underpaid on that.
I mean, that's not a lot for a year's worth of work, especially when she was doing the work at 4.
Yeah, it should
And
actually
again,
have been.
hazard pay, I think, should have
yeah,
been included.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she returned had another son, moved back to Alaska, but despite this seemingly happy ending, Blackjack's remaining years were tinged with pervasive sadness and poverty. While Stephenson and others, including Noyce, profited from the story of the tragic expedition, Blackjack saw none of that money, and smear campaigns against her character later emerged, claiming that she had callously refused to care for Knight. But like I said, Knight's parents said no. It's so weird they needed to maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what the motivation
God.
there was.
Again, probably racism.
Yeah, jealousy potentially. She
Yeah.
was seen as the hero because she was clearly the hero of the story.
Yeah.
Stephenson's like, actually,
Actually, I'm the female Robinson Crusoe, so...
There might even be a bit of, patriarchal thinking and thinking, the guy should have survived and the woman should know.
That's right. If you could survive, why couldn't this man?
Why couldn't
Yeah.
he? What did you do? Also, because you are a mother or a woman, therefore no mother things, why couldn't you make him better? You should have known how to do that.
Cass, I don't want to be rude to your guest,
Yeah.
but I'll do the feminizing around here. Okay, so
Okay, I'm so sorry. Thank you for
pretty.
putting me
That's
in my
actually
place.
pretty important that that you leave that sort of stuff for me.
I'm sorry, I won't take up space.
Thank you. Stop taking up my space. Let me lean in for a moment. People understand irony listening usually. So her son Bennett's health issues were never fully resolved, and he died of a stroke in 1972 at the age of 58. Blackjack followed her son roughly a decade later, passing away in a nursing home in Palmer, Alaska at the age of 85, and she was buried by Bennett's side.
She extended his life so much, though.
So much, yes. And she lived to 85. She lived in 1983. She passed.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Uh,
So she would have seen parachute pants.
did parachute pants
Did
make it
she,
in that early?
did she invent
She
them?
probably actually seamstressed
Yeah,
them.
for sure. Big influence.
Actually, yeah, she based them on pollen pants. After her death, her second son Billy spoke lovingly of his mother, saying, "I consider my mother, Ada Blackjack, to be one of the most loving mothers in the world and one of the greatest heroines in the history of Arctic exploration. She survived against all odds. It's a wonderful story that should not be lost of her self-discovery and cultural reawakening. And it's a story of a mother fighting to survive, to live so she could carry on with her son Bennett and help him fight the illness that was consuming him. She succeeded, and I was born later. Her story of survival in the Arctic will be a great chapter in the history of the Arctic and Alaska. Time is running out, and soon this chapter will fade away unless we care enough to make a record of it. After his mother passed, Billy mounted a plaque on her grave which simply said, "The heroine of Wrangel Island," which is very sweet as well. Because it's sort of like, wasn't the nicest end, but it's so, the way Billy, I just love that excerpt of what Billy said.
That's really beautiful. And we all think we have the most loving mothers, but I mean, that guy's probably right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
How many of your mothers have gone to the Arctic and learnt how to survive for 2 years in the wilderness just to try and earn $50 a month? I don't think mine has, and I'm going to have a word to her about it.
I don't think I can claim that on mine
Mum.
either.
come on. Yeah, maybe our mums are in the top 5, but
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the report. I guess, is there the one loose end is the island, despite the flag being planted, the island has always remained as part of Russia and is now a wildlife refuge. And as a fun fact, according to that great website, wikipedia.org, Wrangel Island is the last known place on Earth where woolly mammoths survived. It was until around 4,000 years ago. That little island, that's the last known spot where woolly mammoths survived.
So thinking about, size relativity, woolly mammoths probably did think it was pretty small.
Yeah.
yeah, for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dying out everywhere, and that's the last spot. Yeah, shattered. Anyway, that's my report on the legendary Ada Blackjack.
Oh, absolutely loved it. Love that.
Yeah.
Love an Arctic story, an Antarctic story, and I love a survival story.
And do you know what else we love? Mums.
Mums.
We love love. We love
mums.
mums.
And
We
people
love a happy ending. I think that is a happy ending. Like if your story starts out with 2 years in the Arctic and it ends with old age death.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in your mid-80s?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
So, yeah, quite amazing. And I really enjoyed reading about it. It's just like, where's the movie? There should be a Hollywood movie about this. Just trying to... there's a few other people who... Chris Smith, his suggestion, when they suggest a topic, listeners can write a little bit next to it to say why. Mm-hmm. And this is what Chris Smith wrote. All stories of polar survival are fascinating. And this time it isn't a white guy. Which, that one I saw Ada, but my favourite one was... let me find it here. Was by Jessica Banaszak. She wrote, 3 in 1, the story of an Inupiat woman who in 1921 volunteered to accompany 4 American/Canadian men on a mission to the remote Wrangel Island in Russia. They meant to claim the island for Canada, were stranded for 2 years, and only Ada survived. Biography, adventure, and a mystery? What?
We love a good pitch.
That's a great
Love a good
pitch.
And anyone can suggest a topic at any time through our website, dogoonpod.com.
Yes.
And
the
there
button
are-
that says submit a topic.
Submit
I
a
think.
topic, and there are thousands in there. So if there is something that makes it stand out like that, it really does help.
Yeah.
Get
Got to make
picked.
it pop.
That's
Yeah, I
right.
definitely-
You got
I-
to sell it.
I look at the title and then the it's because there are some that are just they don't write anything in that in the why do you think this would be an interesting topic. If you're suggesting it and you can't think of a reason why it'd be interesting. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, Cass and Dave. Cass, do you want to hang around for the second part of the show?
Yeah.
It's most listeners' favourite part of the show.
Oh, well, I'd love to join everyone for that. That would be wonderful.
Right. Well, it actually, it starts off with a jingle. It's basically we thank a few of our Patreon supporters. We answer a few questions. We just have a bit of fun, and it actually has a jingle. And Jess normally does the jingle, Dave. So you might have to do it this week. How does it go again?
Fact, quote, or question. Ding.
He always remembers the ding. Cass, that must have been a full-on thing to see.
That was beautiful. A jingle isn't a jingle without a dingle.
That's true.
I used my whole Dingle.
So the way this works is people can get involved by going to patreon.com/dogoonpod or dogoonpod.com, and depending on the level you sign up to, there's different rewards and benefits or whatever you call them, including on some levels you get bonus episodes, 3 per month.
Yeah, 3 per month. There's over 100 in the back catalogue now that people can listen to.
So you're saying if I signed up to the Dig On Pod Patreon right now, I'd immediately get access to 100 episodes?
Exactly. Over 100.
I mean, that's good value.
That's good
That
value.
does sound like good value.
That's right. Even in 1921 money, that's good value.
And you can also, you get other things like access to the exclusive Facebook Patreon group and other such things. You get to voting rights on topics.
You know about live shows before anyone else. Get a bit of pre-sale, get in there.
Pretty much know about anything before everyone else. And
Sounds
in
like
all
being
aspects of life.
Part of a cool club, actually.
Honestly, it is a club/cult, some have said.
Ooh.
But nice.
Charismatically.
Yeah, exactly.
Those words are both... 3 of the letters in those words are the same. Club and cult.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
And what is a B but not a T who's touching his toes?
Yes.
That's what I've always said.
I've heard him say that.
One of the other things you get to do is give us a fact, a quote, or a question. You have to be on the Sydney Scheinberg Deluxe Memorial Edition Rest in Peace level or something along those lines. And if you're involved in that, you get to give us a fact, a quote, or a question. And you also get to give yourself a title. This week, I'm going to read out 4, much like every other week. And the first one comes from Drew Forsberg, who's given himself the title of the beloved Side Admiral. I guess as opposed to the
dreaded Rear Admiral. That's funny.
That's good fun. Good
I
fun
leave myself
from
open to wedgies, wet willies, and the dreaded Rear Admiral.
So Drew has given us a quote, and I don't think it's probably the least used of the 3. And Drew Forsberg's quote is "Diplomatic immunity," and that was said by the South African guy in Lethal Weapon 2 immediately prior to said immunity being revoked by LAPD officer Danny Glover. It's a great moment in cinematic history. And I really appreciate you, Drew, for bringing that up. Any thoughts on that? I mean, it's just a quote. So,
No, a big fan. Haven't seen the movie. Don't need to now.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that bit?
No.
No. Well,
I'm not, but it feels
I'm
like...
so glad you got to experience for the first time here.
Do you know what it feels like? It feels like I've been delivered like a Monster Shake. You remember when Monster Shakes were pretty big?
No.
Like unicorn shakes. It'd pretty much be a milkshake, but you would cover like the outside of the container with like syrup and...
A hamburger.
God, how
Yeah.
could you pick it up?
No, like they used to come in like handled jars, like the mason jars with handles on them.
Yeah,
so they
right.
like drip syrup all on the outside and they cover it with cream and ice cream.
Kind of made for Instagram.
Yeah, it was
More
pretty...
for the photo than the consumption.
Exactly. It's like someone's presented me with a Monster Shake. I've looked at it and thought, I don't want to touch it because then I'm going to be sticky. And so what I've done is taken like the sour worm or whatever off the top and just eaten that and been like, you know what? That was the best bit.
Diplomatic immunity.
Is it you or Jess who loves to say it?
I would imagine most people love to say
I
it.
feel like you've both quoted it on the show multiple times.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't said it in a while, but probably because I'd forgotten about it until then, but always loved it. Favorite bit of that movie for sure, hands down. How's your South African Cass? Can you do diplomatic immunity better than me? Because I really feel like I used to think I could do it, but
Maybe it was you who used to do it frequently. Yeah.
I was unconvinced by my performance there.
I can only say rooibos tea.
Rooibos tea. Oh no, that was bad. What I can say, to me, a grudge is just a place you park your car.
Regret face there. Anyway.
The next one comes from Rachel Johnson, who has given herself the title of Supervisor of Pipes and Pies. Wow.
Oh, okay, great. Is there a pipe that brings the pie to my gob?
Pipe is just a pie with a P in it.
Oh my goodness. And what is a pea if not a...
Tea touching its toes.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, so Rachel's asking a question here. The question is, last time I asked what reality TV show you'd each choose to go on. So this time I'll ask which TV quiz show or game show you'd most like to go on. And Rachel has done what I really encourage people to do. If you ask a question, please answer it yourself as well. Do you want Rachel's answer? Oh, you answer first because yours might be the same, I reckon.
I
know you're a big fan of this show.
Definitely Pointless
Yes,
in the UK.
Rachel's
Oh my goodness, I love that
agrees.
show so much. Such a great show. First fell in love with it when I went to England about 8 years ago, and it just happened to be on during the afternoon, and I made sure that I was home. I'm on a holiday where I've paid all of my student money to go somewhere, and I'm making sure at 4 p.m. every day I'm back in the hotel so I can watch this TV show.
Yeah, but it's part of being in the culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I experienced it. I love it. And now it's up on, I've watched episodes on YouTube and stuff like that. Love it.
Pointless is like the opposite of Family Feud, yeah?
Yes, that's right. You have to try and find the most obscure answer.
Love to be random.
Oh, it'll live for it. So good. But
Do you have an answer, Cass?
Well, does it have to be so it's a quiz show specifically?
Yes, I believe so.
Look,
Well, I reckon all game shows.
yeah,
sorry.
probably game show.
game show. Ooh.
We should go on
Takeshi's
to Family
Castle?
Feud. Takeshi's Castle.
Takeshi's Castle.
Oh, what's that?
It's more of an obstacle. It's the Japanese
Oh, fun.
obstacle course one.
Oh,
Game
yeah,
show?
awesome.
It would just be fun to get walloped by one of those. But hang on, no, let's go back. Family Feud. Family Feud. Family Feud.
Oh, Family Feud.
We could go on as a family.
Yeah, we could be a family.
Do they
but-
allow that?
Yeah. Well, do you know what? No, maybe Family Feud's a good one because you can go on because every now and then they'll do like a charity one or they'll
Yeah.
do a special. So you don't have to be a family, but you can be an other kind of unit.
Yeah.
So we could be
We're a unit.
the podcasting Melbourne family.
I like
Right.
that.
Well,
Yep.
obviously, for copyright reasons, it has nothing to do with Family Feud. But at the start of last year, do you remember we had
Oh, yeah,
Family
that's right.
Food,
Oh,
which was
weirdly
a
completely different.
similar game show
Legally,
in some
yeah.
ways, but where we actually had Sanspants Radio versus Planet Broadcasting, and
Does that exist somewhere?
it must exist somewhere. We filmed
It'd
the
be
video
weird
of
if
it,
it didn't.
and I co-hosted it with Jackson Bailey.
That was so fun. We raised money for the bushfires.
Yeah, that was a lot
Remember
of
the
fun.
old tragedies of yore?
My goodness, so that was sort of January, February last year before
Yeah.
the world changed. But that's a great answer. I love the Japanese game show. Matt.
Yeah, well, this is a tricky one. I mean, they all seem fun. I'd love to be on Wheel of Fortune saying top dollar.
You love
dollar.
Yeah, I can see
think
you
that
doing
sort
it.
of stuff real funny. When a quiz show is around for so long that there's like cliches that come up. And finale.
Booyah.
What about no deal?
No
Imagine
deal.
saying no deal to a suitcase.
No deal, Andrew. No deal.
No deal.
Lock it in, Eddie.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
love
that's
that
right.
for Who
You
Wants
got
to Be a
that.
Millionaire.
I think like you, Dave, I love the really weird, daggy English ones.
Oh, like Eggheads.
Eggheads is so. It just looks like a show where they don't realize TV cameras are rolling. It really doesn't. It's like that. They have no idea. Do they know people are watching?
What's Eggheads?
There's a team of 4.
Like trivia masters
Yeah,
called
they're
the Eggheads.
the Eggheads.
And then a team of 4 challenges them, and the Eggheads nearly always win. But then
What's the opposite of charisma? Because
Yeah.
that's everyone on that show.
if the Egghead
Competence.
like if I'm one of the Eggheads and Matt is also one, if he gets an answer wrong, I'm like, oh.
Yes.
Oh, all right, I knew that one. Like, it's
Yeah.
they're so brutal to
It's
each other.
Really, yeah, it's a real strange vibe, that
but
one.
there's so many of those English ones
But
that
I
we
like
don't
Tipping
get.
Point.
What's that one?
That's on in afternoon TV at the moment in Australia, where it's a quiz show, and then you get tokens that drop in this big machine. It looks like something you
Yeah.
play at Time Zone or something.
Right, and it's
they
put-
bounce down, and you want them to knock over the edge, and every token that ends up landing over the tipping point, you get $1,000
You
or
get,
something.
I think you get to keep that token. I won 6 tokens.
It's so weird. It's like flashing lights, and they crash zoom, and then it's just the same sort of just couple of people talking like they don't realize the cameras are on. It's just so sort of
Great.
mumbly and
Love it. So good.
So
I wish we had more of a game show culture here because my dream would be to just come up with a concept for one.
yeah,
I think we do have a little bit of a game show culture. I think we're just maybe we sit outside of it. Maybe it's not the culture we want. You want to set up a new game show, a
And yet
rival
all
game
we
show
do
culture.
is basically see what's successful in like European market and bring it over here
Yeah.
and do an adaptation.
Yeah, we franchise.
But I'd love to come up with something new.
Right.
Just love the idea of it. Don't care who hosts it. Just I want to do the concept.
I did like we did a countdown here. We did letters and numbers. and that was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It still carried gentle vibes.
A lot of fun.
Our Bake Off shows, I guess it's not really a quiz or a game
David
show.
Astle, who I know a little bit, was the
Our letters and numbers person.
dictionary guy.
Mm.
Fantastic work. that had the vibe of the English shows a little bit.
Yeah.
That sort of, it's just very chilled out. But it didn't have any of the crash zooms or anything that Tipping Point has. Tipping Point, a bizarre dichotomy of styles.
And Rachel's answer. Tell me we're going on Pointless together because you play in pairs.
Yeah, great. I think that makes sense. Great question. Thank you so much, Rachel.
No, what's Rachel?
That was Pointless, yeah.
Oh.
Didn't I already say that?
Yeah, so you implied, but I thought there might be an explanation from Rachel.
No explanation, just
Yeah, great. So hopefully, Rachel, if
I
you're
would choose
interested,
Pointless.
we
One's a scientist.
could go on Pointless together.
I think that's a great idea.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for that question, Rachel. I'd be up for going on any quiz shows. I like a quiz.
They're fun. I often wonder what my topic would be on Hard Quiz.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys ever wonder this?
Yeah, hard quiz. That's an Australian.
That's a good
one.
one.
Yes, I think it's an Aussie creation.
But it is very similar to others, right? What is that one that Peter Berner used to host?
Oh, the Einstein Factor.
It's not that far off that.
It's similar to that, but with a sassy host, Tom Gleason, who does a great job.
Wasn't Peter Berner sassy enough for you?
Not in the way that Tom is.
Yes. I had another thought there. It does not matter at all. Thank you, Rachel. This next one did you ask me something that I just ignored?
Yeah, your expert topic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you know what
sorry.
your expert topic would be on Hard Quiz?
I don't. I'm not sure. It could, depending on the week, it'd be whatever I just read about. Maybe TISM. But I don't even think there'd be real TISM, like hardcore TISM.
Yeah, but what you'd do, you'd pick your topic, you get your date, and you'd be like, all right, I'm studying that.
Yeah.
And study it up. Do you have one, Cass?
I'm not sure.
No, but I guess I didn't consider that. Of course, you'd have lead up time. Whenever I imagine hard quiz, I always imagine I'd be on the spot immediately.
Right.
It's like, quick, we're going to quiz you on something obscure. And I'm like, oh no.
Sure. Like, I love The Simpsons, but it's so broad.
Yeah.
I know.
Very difficult.
Tough.
So many
You'd
things.
have to say season 3 or something.
Yeah, you would. Season 3, episode
really
1, first
specific.
15 minutes? No, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
The opening sequence, I know it off by heart.
Yeah, so all the questions would be like, on frame 72, what colour hair?
Great, my favourite frame, actually. Thank you, Tom. I'll take this one.
Can you just name the Pantone colour of the Krusty family's hair?
Oh, absolutely, I can.
Did you come up with one, Cass?
Look, if I were put in a situation where I had to go on Hard Quiz tomorrow, I'd probably be like, Sans Pants Radio, the company I work for. I'm like, I reckon
Amazing.
I know more than most about that, but I don't know the most, you know?
Yeah.
I could still fail. Yeah. But nothing feels as good as watching a hard quiz and getting one of the questions right.
Oh, from someone else's category.
Oh, my
Being
God.
like, oh, my goodness, I do know about 1950s kettles or something.
Okay, so the next one comes from Nicole D. Morton. Oh, from Horsham and Vic. Not everyone puts in their place there, so I love that, Nicole. Well done.
Good McDonald's there.
Nice,
and
good intel.
Nicole's given herself the title of probably fucking accounts payable as usual, but honestly, it's fine. Someone has to do it, just as long as there's free biscuits.
Oh,
I mean, Nicole, you get to choose. But I love that. I
Yep.
love an accounts payable with a bit of sass.
anyway, and we've got good biscuits, like full assorted creams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm calling
Splashing
them
out for
Monte
the assorted.
Oh, I love a Monte Carlo, yeah.
Well, it feels like I
I'm
always
a
thought
Kingston
everyone
gal.
agreed.
Fine,
Kingston number 2.
Fine, I'll take a
Yeah.
Delta cream, whatever.
Delta cream. That's slipping down the list. But we all
How
know
do you
what's
not
last.
go
Orange cream.
orange cream?
Or orange slice.
Orange slice, is that what it is? No.
Yeah, and what's the other one?
The Turkish
Shortbread
delight
cream.
of the biscuit world.
Yeah, it's always left.
Yeah. Well, shortbread creams are always left.
No, orange slice is always left.
But that's it. Okay. You gotta dedicate some secret time to learning to love the leftovers.
That's smart, yeah.
That's
like,
how
I personally love a Brazil nut, but I would never tell anyone.
great. You'd be like, oh gosh, another Brazil nut for me. And inside you're like, yes.
Well, you just join in eating all the rest of the nuts. You know, you see your favorite biscuit isn't the popular biscuit.
Yeah, that's a good place to be.
Shh, be quiet. Be quiet that that's your favorite biscuit. You eat the other biscuits with everyone else. And then you got a plate of biscuits just
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
good.
Do you really think the key to the Monte Carlo is whatever that red
Mm.
Why is
outside
it only on the
layer is.
outside?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why don't they make the whole biscuit like that?
Why don't they make the whole biscuit out of the red layer?
I think that'd be great.
So Nicole's got a question as well. Here it is. It's longer. Did you know that it has been scientifically proven, 2 asterisks that we'll come back to, that accounts payable is the one job that no human being has ever planned to do? They just end up there, wallowing in a deep pit of regret. It's not even real accounting, just admin with a lot more migraines and instances of, as per my previous email. And this was the double asterisk. Disclaimer, the science is just my own anecdotal study of noting the number of times I've wanted to die by approximately 2:15 p.m. I'm curious, is there a job you would absolutely never do, even if there was no other option?
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
Bricklayer, concreter.
See, any job where I could also get ripped.
Yeah. Exercise. Incidental exercise.
I'll just
Incidental
die.
exercise is the way to go. You just need to make sure that you save so that you can quit before your body breaks.
Window washer for a high rise. Terrifying. Couldn't do that.
Man, these are. I was like eye surgeon or something, but I guess
Yeah, that's a lot of
there's other
pressure.
reasons why I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think all the ones you've said seem like just they're all good jobs.
I'm not throwing shade on these people.
No, I know, but I
it's
just feel like they'd be good jobs to do.
for me and my bod.
Right.
I would not be. I'd die on day one.
Your bod'd change
No,
very
it's
quickly.
all
Yeah.
over.
You'd become ripped, Warnicky.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Lifting
and
bricks all
I reckon I
day.
could be a brickie.
I reckon you could be a brickie.
Oh.
yeah, you get a technique down.
Basically, I don't want this to be misconstrued. This is the ultimate respect to the brickie by me saying I could never do what you do.
No, I don't think anyone was interpreting that as you
Oh,
looking
no,
down
no.
on
Saying what a
brickies.
shit job. No,
you would
honestly.
no.
I think I understood you to be like, I can't do it. I feel like you'd start small bricks, start with Lego, work your way up to
I'm
Duplo.
bad. I'm really bad at Lego. I always have been.
What? How? Say what?
I don't enjoy it. I don't like following instructions.
Okay.
Oh, but do you have fun when you play with Lego?
Yeah, I like building my own stuff.
That's a skill.
It always becomes a block.
I suppose that would be an issue if you were tasked with house and you were like, no.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I want it to be a block.
We
like,
really just need a wall here, mate.
Well, you get it. You get a block.
It's a real thick wall. Yeah, Cass, job you would never do.
Job I would never do.
Yeah.
Oh, what about abattoir worker or something like that? I think I'd find that a bit hard.
Oh yeah.
Put in the bolt
I was
in the
trying
cows.
Yeah.
I also think even the other end, being a vet would be very difficult because you have to deal with so many sick animals.
Right.
I'd find that difficult.
I've heard that a lot of vet work is putting animals down.
Yeah, I find that very.
Yeah. Any job that involved killing an animal or person, like I wouldn't be good at pushing the button.
Right. I think there's a lot of jobs that involve killing people, but I guess hitman or
Yeah.
woman.
Would you ever be hitman/hit woman?
Yes. I don't think I'd take up the role of hit person.
Yeah. Now I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
I just don't want to kill anyone.
You
It
do
sounds like
any job.
what was the job?
Accounts payable.
That's invoicing. Is
Okay,
it?
I've never understood. So there's accounts payable and there's accounts receivable. And in my mind, so if I'm business, right,
Yeah.
and I'm accounts payable, I'm like, okay, you pay to me. But if I'm accounts receivable, I'm receiving the money.
Yeah.
How
that
does that
right?
work?
When you're receiving the money and you're paying the money.
I
Accounts
once did an
payable.
admin job where I had to say that I was accounts payable or accounts receivable, just to put everything through the system. Like nothing dodgy was happening. It was just the way it went through. It was a small business. But I still can't remember. I did that job.
Oh no.
Well, I imagine Nicole is fuming right now.
Yeah, that's right. Her area of expertise on the
So
Einstein factor / hard quiz.
Well, that just
Accounts
means
payable.
you're gonna more likely win. Yeah. So did you have an answer there, Cass? No animal killing.
Or people killing.
Dave's no bricklaying. He'd love to kill animals. Be happy to do it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. But as long as I don't have to kill them with bricks.
And I don't want to.
He's not laying brick into
Yeah,
skull.
yeah.
That counts.
And you, Matt?
I'm thinking like surgeons.
So
But yeah, there's reasons I just never would be able to do that. I can't think of a
believe in
job
yourself. Neither of you believing in
I
yourselves.
also just wouldn't want to be a doctor because I don't like medical stuff. Like I find it a bit yuck.
Yeah, I know the TV shows
So-
come on. I'm like, who's watching this? So
Yeah.
people who like, oh, I love seeing people sick. I don't. That's how they get their jollies. I don't know. That's a high rating TV show. Sick people in Australia, anyway. Sick People MD or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one where they're like, careful, this might be pretty distressing? You're like, all right. And it's like, this person's dying. You're like, and you can't save them. Well, I hope their family got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Yeah.
That's all you can think of. You're like, well, I hope they got a lot of money and that has genuinely helped them cover costs.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing
jeez.
else.
Yeah. So, being the being the editor on that TV show, that's a job I wouldn't do.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you have to watch a lot of footage for that.
Probably
Awful.
the cameraman even more. Or woman. No, but I mean, anyway. And finally, from Murray Somerville, who Murray's given himself the title of Senior Head Illustrator of Random Do Go On Moments 2021.
Ooh.
And Murray's offered us
A great artist too, by the way. You post in the Facebook group a lot.
Oh,
you love the style. We talk
I
about this a
love
lot.
that style. I wish we had them all just to post publicly. Whenever I see him, I go, "Do you mind if we post this on our feed?"
Yeah, a few times we have posted on our Instagram page if you want to have a look.
Ah.
But really, really good.
They should all be out there.
All on the. Sorry, what was the handle for that Instagram page?
At Do Go On Pod.
Do Go On Pod.
At Do Go On Pod. At Do Go On Pod.
Check it out, everybody. Randy
So you
Somerville.
just give it a follow, and you find your Randy Somerville.
That's right. What an artiste.
And this is Murray's.
Randy. I just called him Randy. I'm so sorry. Murray
I thought that
Som-
might have been. I thought that was just the
Murray,
handle.
Randy Somerville. Sorry, Murray. I don't know. That just slipped out
That's
of my
exciting,
mouth.
Murray. You gave yourself a title, you got a title.
That's right. You're Randy Randy. All right. What's he got? Fact, quote, or question?
Fact. And the fact is, I recently started working in an opera company and started to hear people say chookers before a show. I soon found out that wishing one another good luck before a performance is actually bad luck. Instead, you say chookers. This is an Aussie slang and dates the 1900s when a full house meant that the cast would be given chicken to eat after the show. Before curtain up, someone would count how many people were in the audience. If there were a lot, the person counting would yell chookers to let the cast know they wouldn't go hungry. So chookers came to mean good luck. In my head that wasn't an Australian only thing, but
Yeah.
there you go. That's
Love
awesome.
it.
I've dabbled in the theatre, and I assumed that chookers was a thing you said to everyone, but that was because all my friends were also in the theatre. So I would come out into other social circles and be like, chookers, and it would make no sense.
What the
Right.
hell are you talking about?
It's leaked in a stand-up. Stand-ups will, people will say it to you sometimes.
Well, that's what got me, because I started saying it around people who did comedy gigs and at work where we do podcasting. We do
Right.
gigs of podcasting. And everyone was like, they accepted it. And I
Yeah.
went out to talk to people with desk jobs. They're like, what are you talking to me about? I'm
Yeah.
like, when you earn enough money to buy a chicken.
Do you think in accounts payable they say chookers?
Yeah, I think so. Winner, chicken dinner. So I wonder so do they just break a leg's another classic one? Maybe that's just, is it?
I don't know where that comes from, though.
Murray, you've got a task for
Murray?
next
In
time.
the opera, do they also say toy? Anyway, I may have heard that
maybe
before.
in baby opera.
Yeah, maybe. Toy.
All right.
Or a word similar to that. Anyway,
Cass, would you believe we've only just begun this second part of the show?
let's whiz through this. Honestly, this is going to be an epically long episode.
We also love to thank some of our supporters, and normally Jess comes up with a little game where something based on the show topic.
Oh, yeah?
We attach to each person. So maybe if the topic was about dogs, we might give everyone a dog name.
Okay, cool.
Jess is better at it than me. Obviously, that's why it's not my role.
Okay.
So do you have an idea there? Something based on?
Okay, if we were all stranded on the island together, what's the job you take up?
Okay. So
we all
we've got
get one
seamstress.
little job, you know? So
Seamstress is taken.
Yep, seamstress is taken. But all the rest of her jobs need to be divvied because she's working really hard, and we want to give Mum a break. You know,
Sounds fantastic.
you know, maybe I'm going to construct the cupboard. You know, but we still got the gun rack. We need wound tenders.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. How about this, Dave? You and I'll do 5 each. Cass is going to come up with all the jobs. She feels ready to go.
Okay, great.
So I'll kick off with the first 5, if that makes you feel okay, Dave. I started that sentence with a way that didn't have an easy way to finish it. If that makes you feel okay, Dave.
Yeah, I guess.
So firstly, I'd love to thank from Montesano in Washington in the United States, Alice Barr or Bear, B-A-R-R-E with an accent.
Where's the accent?
Over the E. The
Ah,
upward going on.
beret.
Beret, okay. Alice Beret or Bear or Barry or Beret. Alice. What's Alice's job, Cass?
Alice will be making, based on their name, they will be assisting Ada the seamstress in constructing polar bear hats or berets.
Whoa.
Love that.
Bear berets.
Out of the heads or just out of any part of the what fur?
I think Alice is pretty resourceful.
Yeah.
And Alice is not going to let any part of the polar bear go to waste. Every part of the polar bear will be used to make a different beret.
Wow, so
Bear
you might
beret.
have a scrote beret.
Yep,
for
scrote
instance.
beret, bear beret. No bald babe will have a bear head with these bear berets.
My goodness, that's
She
good
wore
marketing.
a scrotemy beret. The kind you found at that Antarctic store. Arctic. Fuck. All right. Thank you so much to Alice, and apologies for the last little bit there. I'd also love to thank from Coburg, just up the road in Victoria, Australia, Alex Tilley. Alex Tilley. What's Alex Tilley up to at camp in the Arctic?
Now, Alex is tilling the land. This, I'm going to be real, not fruitful. But I think it's important that we all have work to do. And I'm glad Alex has a job.
What is tilling the land?
Oh, it's when you sort of turn over the soil to grow crops.
So Cat Stevens' album Tifa the Tiller Man, is that someone giving dinner for the person who's tilling the land?
I always thought it was the beverage of tea.
Oh.
But
well,
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't
you're
know
right.
if a tiller man is that.
all good questions though, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, God. Aren't we full of them?
Yeah, we're full of something.
All Q, no A.
I got a lot of A's in me as well, but Alex, till away. Fantastic work. We need it.
It will. And, if we till enough of the land, maybe some of the snow is going to melt a bit. And maybe it will come to fruition if the land is able to be turned over enough, or you're going to destroy the dirt. Really no middle ground with this one. Either nothing will ever grow again, or you will make something grow for the first time in many years.
Worth taking a punt.
Yeah, and it's entertainment for the rest of us. So thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. Next, I'd love to thank from Ashford in Great Britain, someone with a fantastically British sounding name, Elliot Crosby McCulloch.
Oh, that's fun.
That's very British to me.
That's phenomenal. Elliot's going to be in charge of beverages.
Oh, you got to stay hydrated.
Got to stay hydrated. Got to have fun with it.
Thank you, Sarah. Is there any creaming sodas?
Well, that's up to Elliot. I think at this point, maybe there is going to be some theatrics. We are in the wilderness. So maybe Elliot is doing some artisanal things with water.
Oh.
So maybe we're collecting like ice chips to melt slowly over the water. Maybe we can all become sommeliers of water. We can see what the difference between the snow water, the ice water, one that we collect off of dewy leaves.
Great, I love this.
Yeah.
Water
Maybe do
sommelier
some
Elliot.
Blind taste testing.
Yep. Well, imagine if you, because you know how you go to different people's houses and you're like, some people have good water and some people have bad water. This
yeah.
pause is odd. What?
Sure.
You know how some taps are good?
Oh,
The water tastes better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people have good water at their house and some people,
Definitely know that a lot of states and cities here have terrible water.
I think we need Rachel Johnson to get involved there as the supervisor of pipes and pies. I think the pipes
Yeah,
will
it's a
be
pipe
playing.
issue.
Yep, that is all pipe.
So I'd love to thank once more Alice, Rebecca, Alex, Elliot, and finally Bron here, is it? Have I got one more? Damn it, I can't count. From Portland, Oregon in the United States, I'd love to thank Bron Stoll Engelson. What's Bron up to?
Bron is in charge of meat tenderization.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of meat.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of meat. And when we're looking at animals in the Arctic, there's going to be a lot of different fat contents, fat concentrations, and we're going to see what we can do. So Bron does have a little bit of a dangerous job. Bron is going to attempt to ragu some polar bear.
Ragu them.
Wow.
Sorry, I mean wagyu,
Oh, Wagyu.
not ragu. I mean, ragu will come later, but try and massage a polar bear until all of the blubber ripples into the meat, and it's a lovely melty treat for
This
us.
is while the polar bear's still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
right.
Bron's really taking one for the whole team, and it is for the sake of taste buds. We do have someone else just for the regular feeds, but Bron's for when we want to treat ourselves.
That's, yeah, great.
On your Bron.
Yeah.
I wonder, because I never really, I obviously haven't had to put this into practice, but so I'm not a meat eater per se.
Yep.
So I wonder how long it would take me at a place like this before I just go, I'm getting a polar bear. Are you going to have alternative options?
Well, Bron is specifically on meats. That is her area of
Right.
expertise. Maybe someone from Dave's crew can help with vegetation, but we don't know. I think. Well, I don't know. I can't answer that for you.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. You'd be hungry,
Mm,
and it's the polar bears there.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. Waste not, want not.
waste not, want not. I mean,
I've always said that.
if you go, we're not going to waste you. So
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll eat me.
yeah, and I think we should eat each
But
other.
grain fed, you'd get a pretty good price for me
Oh,
at
yeah.
market.
That's good.
Grain fed Matt.
Wagyu Stewart.
Yeah. Hey, if I get
Matt's been getting
massages, I'm into
massages
it.
every day.
Oh, thank you so. That's so nice. You're like, yeah, I am tenderizing you.
I'm like, hey,
Whatever.
that's the price I'll pay.
Feels
Yeah.
good.
I'll
So-
be dead by
Do you reckon you could tenderize my
dead by
calf? This has really been playing up.
Yeah, if you find yourself out in the wilderness and you're all getting pretty hungry and then one of your friends starts getting handsy, you're next.
Yeah, you're on the chopping block. All right, I would like to thank from Marrero in Louisiana. I'm shouting out Alan Abadi Jr.
Oh, it's a shout out.
Well, yeah, this is a big shout out too. So it's my turn to thank a couple of people is what we're doing.
Really?
So Alan also gets a role, but it's Alan Abadi or Abadi, maybe they say over there, Jr. Love a Jr.
Ah.
What's Alan doing around our camp?
Alan's felling trees.
Love that.
Yep.
What?
Um,
And then just, is Alan meant to be felling trees? Is that helpful to us? Or is Alan on a rampage?
Yeah, just kicking stuff.
Alan hates trees. Alan came here to do the opposite of erect a flag.
Right.
It's to take down any standing structure. We do have other members of the crew who will make use of the trees, but no, Alan is simply getting ripped from felling the trees. And the wood gets used, we need fires.
Yes?
Yeah, but I mean, Rocky punched meat, Alan fells trees.
Yeah.
You got to choose how you get ripped.
Well, that's great. If we've got Alan felling the trees, it means that planes overhead can see us, which is good. That helps us. Someone's noticing deforestation. People are pretty on top of that these days. That gets us seen faster. And then we've got all this wood, more wood than we know what to deal with.
Oh,
Maybe
great.
Bron's going to smoke some meat, with wood chips.
So we take down, well, Alan gets rid
Yep.
of so much of the forest that protests start kicking off. And then we just use one of the protesters' mobile phones to call for help.
Yeah.
love
If
that.
protesters come over, you're like, okay, we'll stop Alan if you take me home, please. Please let me come on your plane. Oh, God.
Yeah, this is a good plan.
That is
Alan's
good.
just saved the day.
Yeah. Well,
I mean-
because we look at Alan, we're like,
We are leaving Alan behind, I imagine.
no. We go to leave and Alan's like, no, my place is here. My work isn't done.
That's right. This island's full of trees.
And he turns and he takes on all the protesters.
Yeah. We're like, Alan, we don't need
As
the
we
wood.
fly
And he
to
turns
safety.
around, is like, It was never about the wood.
Go. You go. I'll hold him off. No, we've already made a deal. We're all good to go.
Nah, it's
Go.
time for me to fell fellas.
All right, I would like to thank now from the greatest of Britons, a place called Bangor, and that is the location for Sasha Eisenstadt.
Sasha Eisenstadt.
Sasha or Sasha is on vegetation. It is mainly leaves at this point. Alan does bring down a lot of leaves from up high, which is good.
From our pie?
Because the trees go into the sky.
Oh, high pies. Up.
Yep.
Our pie.
Oh!
Alpine? Is what you're trying to say, Matt?
I thought Cass said our pie.
Oh, up high.
But she said, oh, not our pie, our pie.
Up high? This what?
Did you say up high?
I think I'm really hungry for
We
pie.
didn't. No, honestly, the pie wasn't even mentioned. And usually I'm the pie guy, but Matt is.
Every
taking
single time food has come up, I have salivated a little bit.
Yeah, I'm real
It was
hungry.
embarrassing when it was dog food, but it was fine when I was talking about Wagyu
But now
beef.
it's pies that don't exist. Sasha Eisenstadt, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And great to have you on board. I would like to thank now from Emeryville in California, Anshika Singh. Anshika Singh.
And Chica's on construction.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, is that real construction or is that like Soprano style? I know they're in waste management, but you know, when someone says, I work in construction.
Oh, you think it's a front?
That's a front.
Oh.
That's
You
something else.
sus on everyone who works in construction.
Yeah. I mean, why else do you think I want to avoid being a bricklayer, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, the foundations of this house are very wonky.
Yeah,
It was meant to be a pun on rickety. I really appreciate that you guys let me feel so comfortable
Hey,
that I can
thank
try
you so
new
much.
material.
I loved it. Anytime you can get a pun, we love. Obviously, Matt, big pun king.
I don't understand puns.
Um,
I accidentally do them sometimes, though. Yeah, maybe. So you're saying people sort of construct like concrete shoes and that sort of stuff. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be wearing those. So thank you so much, Anshika, and I am not going to double cross you. From Pennsylvania now, from how do I say this? Browningsville.
Beautiful place.
Have not heard
man.
of it, but I love it. I would like to thank Ian Klansek. From Pennsylvania.
Ian's doing the video diaries. Now, we don't have the technology now, but Ian's documenting everything that they can, making sure that they write everything down in script form.
Oh, right. Okay, fantastic.
Ian thinks it's going to be a play. Really, we're going to find it in 50 years and turn it into a cinema
So we can do a
movie.
paper edit. Early.
Oh,
That's
absolutely,
great.
yeah.
Very efficient.
Yeah, we do have other members who are on first draft revision, but Ian's taking it down on the front lines.
This is good news. Very happy about
Yeah.
this.
Thanks, Ian.
Playwright / documentarian. I like it. And finally, I would like to thank from Perth, right here in Western Australia. And by that, I mean right here in Australia. We're not at Western Australia. But Sarah Witham. Thank you so much, Sarah. Our final role, Cass. What do we need? What's left?
I tell you, you're either with them or you're against them. Am I right? Is that a pun?
Yeah,
Thank you so much for making me feel comfortable.
Great. Beautiful stuff.
And big thank you to Sarah. Most dangerous job of all, testing berries we find.
Oh, that is a classically.
We found a big red one.
That's a yeah.
Yeah.
Those ones that look so good and juicy.
Well, that's the thing. We got strawberries and raspberries and blueberries.
What are we
I
testing
can't
for
think
needles?
of anything red that's poison.
Yeah.
I can think of red things that are venomous, but what red thing is poison?
Surely we just don't eat them.
Yeah, but I don't even know about them. And I know everything.
You know, every fruit.
I know every fruit and berry. No, red one's always the classic. I mean, there's a thing in nature to say do not eat this. Why do strawberries do?
Reds, the idea is to not eat it.
Yeah, it's a warning. It's a warning for all animals. It's like it's why those really poisonous frogs are that color, because if you eat them, you die.
Right.
And redback spiders, they're venomous.
I'm afraid that Sarah's eaten them all. Hey, Sarah, eat this frog.
It's not just berry Judy. She eats anything red.
Not red Judy. Oh, not another redback.
Well, thank you so much to those supporters. There's only one last thing we got to do, Cass. Would you believe it? The segment lives on. we induct a few people into our Triptych Club. So
Ooh.
supporters who've been on the shout-out level for 3 years straight get inducted to this very exclusive
Basically, a
section.
Hall of Fame.
Oh my
/ club. We've got a full bar set up in there. We have live music, we have drinks, we have hors d'oeuvres, and
Yes.
once you're in for life.
Are you up for filling in Jess's role here as well?
Yes.
What she would normally do is come up with an hors d'oeuvre or a food thing that's usually related to the topic, and a drink, a cocktail.
Okay.
While I'm on the door, I've got the door list here. I'm going to read out the names. Then Dave normally hypes them up.
Yep.
He's also booked a band. Who have you booked this week?
Well, we've got a classic Icelandic act. We've got Björk/Björk.
Wow.
Oh, brilliant.
So thank you so much. Should
Probably
be-
the most famous Icelander.
Yeah, I would say she'd definitely be up there. Famous Icelandic.
Sigur Ross. Is that?
Yeah,
am I
they're
saying that
also
right?
from
Close?
there.
Fake?
Famous
Maybe.
Icelandic people. If you Google it, Björk comes up as number one.
We're playing Family Food.
Family
She's
Feud,
on the
not-
board.
yeah, she's definitely on the board.
What are you thinking for food and drink?
So is it one per new entrant,
No,
or is
no,
it
just
one for the night?
everyone. Because
Oh, 'cause it's a theme night.
the menu grows every week. Everything that Jess has already come up with is available.
Oh,
But,
brilliant.
But there's a new item to the menu.
We have
every
600
week.
people working in the kitchen.
That is brilliant, and it's so many more than we had when we were, out in the Arctic. So we're doing an hors d'oeuvre and a cocktail
Yeah.
based on what we found. Okay. So the cocktail will be based on ice water.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Sounds
It
delicious.
is going to have an ash rim from the fire,
Beautiful.
and it will also. Oh, do you know what? No, the cocktail is made with oat milk from the bag, used to care for the sick man.
Oh, foot milk. Mm.
Foot milk. So it's going to be oat milk made from dripped ice water from our lovely, I've forgotten which of our delightful helpers is on the water sommelier role.
Important role.
A really important role. They've collected the ice water. They've gotten the oats, so it's an oat milk thing. It's got an ash rim. So let's think, it's feeling like toast. I'm feeling toast vibes. What goes with toast?
Marmalade, jam.
That is good. Okay, so we're going to get jam made out of the red berries that Sarah has tested. And we are going to distill... the alcohol is going to be brandy, and it's going to be from the man by the fire with the nightcap.
Yes.
Oh, Stephenson.
Stephenson. It's going to be Stephenson's brandy, and it's going to taste like a boozy toast with marmalade.
Oh, that sounds great. I think Jess said water last time, so
Okay.
love that. Love the thought that's gone into that. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
And maybe a little food on the side. Maybe the
Okay.
toast to dip it in. Just literal toast.
Yeah, and the toast is going to be spread with massaged polar bear wagyu.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm glad we're making use of our 10 polar bear carcasses that we
Yeah.
had delivered.
Secretly,
and that's just this week.
we're definitely going to run out of the wagyu about halfway through the night, and it will be replaced with chum, and no one's going to know.
No.
So there are only 4 inductees this week, and the way this is going to work, Cass, is I'll say their name. Dave then hypes them up.
Hype 'em.
So you picture them. They're running into the club. I'm lifting up
yeah.
the velvet rope. Dave's hyping them up.
Hell
but
yeah.
Dave is a sensitive soul, and he doesn't always feel like he's done the best hype job. So then your job is to hype Dave up.
Every
Yeah.
hype man needs a hype woman. So thank you so much.
Behind every hype man is a hype woman.
Beautifully said.
Okay, so let's get into it. This is nice and fast, just
Okay.
like the rest of the show. Very snappy.
Here we go. All right. I'm feeling good. Who are we welcoming in tonight? All right, let me check this guest list, Matt. Read them out. Here we go. All right.
From Baldivis in Western Australia, it's Samuel Limbury.
Limbury. Limber up for Limbury, am I right? Yeah.
Dave, oh my God, out here with the finger guns. Wow, put them away, buddy. We don't have a license to carry those.
Thank you so much.
The next person is from address unknown and surname unknown. It's Aiden.
Oh, a Faden without Aiden. Thank goodness he's here.
Oh God, and we'd be lost without you too, Dave.
From
Great at this, yes. I'll
Cowes in
hype you
the
back
Isle
up.
of Wight in Great Britain. It's Matt Barber.
Oh, a harbour, a fever for Barber.
Oh God. And Dave's got such a presence like that. Remember that cartoon with the elephant named Bubba?
Yeah.
Woo! And he's wearing a crown.
And finally, from Horsham in Victoria, Australia, it's Lauren Andrew.
Horsham, I was feeling Porsham before you turned up tonight.
Oh, and aren't we all richer for your company, Dave?
Yeah, thank you. I love it. It's like I'm being like, let's try and make this about me. Thank you so much. You make me feel great. You're honestly a great hype person. Appreciate that.
Do you know
Really
what,
good.
Dave? You make the job easy.
Thank you.
Well, that brings us to the end of the episode.
Cass, you made it. Thank you so much. Sticking out late.
Thanks so much for everyone for joining us. Those who made it to the end are the true believers. We appreciate you most of all. Dave, how can people find the show online or whatever?
Well, I must say that I recently rewatched the footage. We will be releasing some live episodes that we filmed at the Melbourne Comedy Festival soon. Details to come, but as in the edit, I called some members of the audience true believers, and Matt goes, "We never call you that," and he just did it.
Ha!
This feels good. Feels good. Of
Yes,
course,
that's going to be a stupid old presents.
yeah, sospresents.com. We'll have the 4 live shows
I think we're talking about it. Maybe it being 1 ticket gets you access to all 4.
Sounds good. A 4-pack super pass.
Yes, that's right.
So keep your eyes out for that. It'll be coming out very, very soon. We will, of course, announce it on here and on social media. But you can get in contact with us at dogoonpod.com. But we are just a few podcasts here at dogoonpod.com. Many, many more podcasts can be found at sanspantsradio.com. Am I right, Cass?
Oh, that is right. Yeah. Oh, including because what about Do Go D&D? Oh, D&D Go On.
Do Go
D&D. I think it was Do Go D&D.
That's on the Sans
right.
Pants Network. That was a co-pro.
Yeah.
And
co-pro.
we're gonna do another one of those if we keep saying, once we're allowed out again, and hopefully we haven't missed that window.
Yeah, we keep getting put back in. No, sanspantsradio.com.
And you host many shows on that network.
Yeah, I'm on some D&D. That's D&D's for nerds. I'm on Shut Up a Second. I like to describe that one as, hey, you got thoughts you don't want? We'll give you new ones. It's like falling asleep at a sleepover with your friends.
Love
That's
that.
nice.
Yeah.
And Dave and I and Jess have all been on multiple episodes of different ones there.
Yeah, I think, you guys.
The most recent one I was on was a How Good's Footy episode, which happened after a Saints win, so I was pretty chirpy
You were
after that.
up for it that day.
And
Did you agree to it before you knew the result?
No, I think I'd be happy to go on anytime, but I think they only asked me on after a win.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I think they maybe think I'm more sensitive than I am. Normally, by the time they record midweek or whenever it is, I've moved on.
It is hard to understand you when you're crying, though. I've experienced that.
Yeah,
myself.
hard to talk through tears.
Yeah. Oh, no. But yeah, I definitely encourage people to check out more of your shows, Cass. And of course, you've been on many episodes of Book Cheat and Primates over the years. One of our absolute favourite guests, and we've been absolutely stoked that you could come on. Do go on.
It
Yes.
was my absolute honour to be here.
Thank you so much.
Part of the Primates Dream Team.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
on the most recent Primates episode, which is the live episode, if you haven't heard it. It's fantastic stuff.
Very,
Cass
very
tells
fun.
a great story about a royal who died at the hands of a monkey.
Oh, that was awesome. And I was in the room watching the live show. And I got to say, you made me feel like a bit of a hack because you wheeled off this amazing story with 0 notes in front of you. We're always cheating with a bit of a laptop or something in front of us, but you just riffed it basically straight from the top of your
That was
dome.
amazing.
Look, it would have come out a lot better had I given myself some notes.
I just don't think it could have.
disagree.
It just came out. It was very, very funny and very interesting. So yeah, people can check that out too.
Yeah.
But I guess that's it for another week of Do Go On. And until next week, I will say thank you so much for listening. And until then, goodbye.
Laters.
Bye bye.